think yeah, like I was saying, we woke up was it a Sunday? What day of the week was? We just woke up with
Just
an anxious
violence,
story.
violence on the weekend.
On the weekend, we saw Idolo. I'll say our because you can't be a fan of Afrobeats, you can't be a supporter of this culture, and not at least respect the presence of, or at least the contributions of Wizkid to the space. Like it's a no-brainer. He's one of the figures that have really, he was the artist of the decade, virtually in a lot of ways, for 2010s, for most of 2010s, and had a huge claim for one of the greatest artists that the country has ever seen. But now we've gone to a point where he has carried on a very, very like contingent effort with this tag, Afrobeats, and we'll get into the specifics of this tag Afrobeats and where it came from and what it is, because there's obviously there's a, all I say, like there's some disparity, or at least two angles to see the Afrobeats tag itself, what it is and what it isn't. So we'll definitely get into that. It's beyond Wizkid, honestly. But I was more so shocked if there was anyone to come out to make this claim and to move in that position to blatantly say I am not an Afrobeats artist. Anyone that is expecting Afrobeat or any Afrobeats lover, basically fuck off. The language was heavy. He was strong. He was bold. Immediately for me, my knee-jerk reaction to that was, yeah, he just wants to, like, it's shock value. He wants something that would turn everyone's head and attention towards him, and which rightfully it did. Like, everyone stopped what they were doing and addressed this huge claim by one of the major figures in this space. And I face value, I thought, yeah, he doesn't really mean what he's saying. And then we get on the next story the day after. We saw the pushback. Everybody reacted. There was a whole, there's a whole thing about it. And then the day after, we saw another. In my opinion, he kind of backtracked on his point. The energy was different. He changed his tone. He said, "I'm an Afrobeats artist," but basically, and I think
changed the tone, changed the font.
He definitely changed the tone. But even with his explanation or with his points that he was trying to justify his outlandish Bollywood artist type of run, which obviously you can read it in a troll's voice. The next points that he tried to make about it being a cage for him and feeling like it's a cage, that most of the things he has dropped, like Made in Lagos for instance, he doesn't consider that Afrobeats. And for me, it's way too convenient for him to come with that tag, come with this claim. It's way too it's inconsistent, of course, because that was one of the bargaining chips he had to sell that album to the world. He was coming with a movement, like not just him, it was an entire scene. People were coming, right? This was at the peak of Afrobeats as a wave being a strong point on the global stage. So he was in the middle of that. He was a major contributor of that wave as well, and he was riding that wave and surfing it nicely. Every interview, every point where he got to talk about the album, every point where you could actually say that, like, oh yeah, this is who I am, introducing himself to the rest of the world. This has never been a claim from him. And for him to come like 3 or 4 years after the album was released, after we dropped an album that wasn't really well received commercially or even critically to the point that you would love to see from a Wizkid project, I think he's showing a sign of lost confidence. I think he has lost confidence in his work. I think he has lost a lot of like zeal and passion for this Afrobeats quote unquote tag that he has been the popsy. He has played the father role for this for so long, and to now feel like a deadbeat in the middle of the next rollout is funny, and it shows that he has lost confidence in his releases. And at least that's literally what I'm taking out of it. His definition, or at least how he's trying to portray Afrobeat as a tag, doesn't really suffice with doesn't really give him justification for diminishing the entire tag. And we'll get into it. I'm trying not to go too far into my points, but yeah, we'll open it up.
I was gonna say,
Sorry.
hold on real fast. Sorry, I was gonna say, I was gonna say, I think it's interesting how you put it. I personally have a slightly different opinion.
Okay.
I think that it is not so much that he has lost confidence in his music and what he puts out. I think it is that he's confident in the music he's putting out, but then he's realizing that he's somehow in a weird middle ground where it's almost like he's pushing away the people that are his fans. And he has to explain that he hasn't lost confidence in his music. He has just changed his music. And the confidence he's losing is basically almost not fully, but a little bit in the fans, because what they are asking for him is no longer what makes him happy, right? So I think it's very interesting. I think there's so many questions that I want to hear people answer today. I want to understand, like, why do you think it's okay for him to say Afrofusion? Why do you think it is okay for him to denounce Afrobeats, but it's not okay for Burna to do it? Why do you think it's okay for a lot of the newer artists? Over the past 1 year, I've heard Afro Swing, Afro Bedu, Afro this, Afro Street, Afro that. Why do you feel the need to define your own genre? The other day, was it Joe Barry? Fireboy was telling us he has his own genre too. I'm tired.
He said like, his Afro life. I mean, I waiting.
I mean,
Belema, can I answer your
to
question?
refer to Fireboy,
hold
he
on.
was.
Hold on. It's not just for one person to answer, it's for everybody to talk about. So I wanted to make sure that, like, this is something when everybody gets a chance to talk, that they give a chance to, like, address each of these different things. Like, why are some people okay with Wizkid saying it?
Okay.
But they were not okay when someone else said it.
Okay.
Like, all of these different points, I think, are, like, valid points that people need to talk about. But I wanted Elle to also finish.
Sorry, Belema, not to like, I guess, take too much away from what you're saying. I think the better conversation, because yes, some people that were, I mean, you find some people that are not really principled on their stance that would welcome it with Wizkid, but like not engage with it with Burna Boy. I think their cases are slightly different, but I think if you are welcoming what Wizkid is saying and diminishing what Burna Boy has been saying, I think that's straight out hypocritical. Like at the end of the day,
that's the thing.
At the end of the day, they're moving with the same premise. It's just that
that is why I disagree.
No, they're moving with the same premise. It's just that there's a difference to it.
Hold on.
Yes.
Everybody will get a chance to tell us why they are.
Okay, let's start with that.
I don't think it's gonna be like, I don't want it to be a whole thing where everybody's discussion is about why Wizkid but not Burna. I think it's a combination of different things. So I want to hear what everybody thinks. And so it's like, I don't want you
let's drive the conversation somewhere though.
I don't want you to answer this question. Right. I want everybody to think about all these things when they are just talking.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So just to, as we're going around, I guess we can address, I guess just on face value, your immediate reaction to Wizkid.
Yeah, everybody's immediate reactions, what you felt, how you all of that.
Okay.
No, Michael.
Elle is gonna go.
Okay,
Michael, sorry, babe. Not yet.
Yeah, but like Elle's gonna kick us up because
let me just start. I'm not gonna say take too much time.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think
Michael, you get a chance to talk because I want to make sure that it's clear that everybody gets to like talk about this. I don't want it to
100%.
Yeah. It's not
with a lot of limitations on the timing. Just so we.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna be quick and a lot of people are hot on this. So I feel like you're right. There's a few things. There's the reaction to what Wizkid said, and then there's why did Wizkid say that? Do you understand? There's two separate things. So I'm gonna start off with. First of all, why I think, or why he said it, what he was, I don't know.
Sorry, Elle is speaking, Mr.
Miss Elle is speaking.
So for me, waking up and seeing that it automatically made me realize, I think this guy is trying to, I guess, introduce or transition into the next drop, and he's gone about, in my opinion, a very brash way of expressing that this is going to be a different sound, or this is digging deeper into maybe his cool tone R&B sound, whatever. And I just find it really ridiculous because we have so many artists nowadays from different genres, And I don't, maybe I'm not in those genres and I don't understand the culture, but I don't hear them shouting, oh, we're no longer reggae, or we're no longer reggaeton, or they're just artists, right? They do what they do and they get on. Unless maybe it's because I'm not in their culture and I don't understand what's going on their end. So for me, I find it very ridiculous. Number one, that he had to do that. There's so many easier ways to do it. Oh, I love my day ones, but you know, this new project is going to be XYZ. That's all he had to do and keep it moving. And that would have been fine. But to alienate what people love, to alienate and to diminish what people are fighting for. Imagine the work that all these people that are doing Grammy, all these people that are, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to make sure this space is called Afrobeats to the world. Like, it undermines, in my opinion, ironically, it undermines.
Personally, I think it's Afrobeats to Ikorodu now. Because we're not going out, we're not going to the world anymore.
We're not going anywhere.
It undermines everything that I guess people are working for, especially because we're not doing it because we're trying to jump on a bandwagon or a hashtag. It's because we love the genre and the subgenres that have come out of it and will continue to come out of it. But to erase something that is part of a journey of the music journey of us, of everyone in this space, of everyone in the music sphere, it's just ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. And also for those that haven't said anything, the Bankulis, the Shopsies that are still licking asses and saying, oh, let me not say it like that, but the people that are not calling out what Wizkid is saying, it's true. I'm sorry, like I'm FC. Can you not see my name is No Stress? But it's just like, what is going on? Can we just talk fact? Like when Burna was doing his thing, fine, it's like we had to tell him that no, that's wrong. So if it's wrong for Burna, it should be wrong for Wiz. And these are artists that we're looking at nowadays are like standing, like are literally, when Rema came out, who did we say he sounded like before we started understanding Rema even more? Like there's so many influences that are literally looking up to Wizkid and look at Ira. There was a clip the other day that I saw of her saying Afrobeats is the best genre in the world. She said that the other day. She literally said that something that is Grammy nominated.
She was in a party and she was demanding for some Afrobeats.
Do you get? Like, we're always like that is what has pushed the genre. That is what has made. I didn't make Wizkid though, but that is what made Wizkid. Us saying we want to listen to Afrobeats, us going to the club, us asking promoters to bring an Afrobeat artist. That is what has actually grown the genre. So I find that thing is very, very, to me, it's a bit sticky still. Like I find it very, very unnecessary, uncouth, and honestly, the guys that are not saying anything, the guys that have bigger platforms, I'm just side-eyeing you. Like, so is there a time when you're actually going to say the truth to your brothers or to your smallies, or is it just because they're big and you can't say nothing to them? It's giving, bro, I don't want to say what it's giving, but it's giving.
Yeah.
That's me.
And ass leaking.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so, it's brown nosing, bro.
Thank you for your point. And I think moving forward, let's also move with this points back at the back of our minds. When we speak of a genre, by the textbook definition of a genre, it really comes down to the composition of it. Like, it's very strict on the sonic side of things. Like, if you really want to look at genres and differentiate them, it's usually through the lens of how does it sound. But there's an element of, I believe there needs to be an asterisk to that definition of a genre. Why? Well, it's kind of obvious. A genre exists as a sonic identity and also a cultural identity. Like, there's that fragment to a genre. There's a point where you can say, this is the hip hop culture, as opposed to this is a hip hop beat. Like, there's a lot of times that artists like, say, Future, or even Roddy Ricch, or the singers like what's the other guy's name? A Boogie with the Hoodie. Like, many of these guys that were super melodic with their rapping were not considered, or at least we're not even welcome in a lot of conversations, and it's because there was a lot of like strict purist ideologies of that genre. And I think we see fragments of that in Afrobeats too. There's people that think Afrobeats is restricted within its sound, and they believe it's a sound identity, and they ignore so much of the cultural aspect of it when it comes to describing popular music from West Africa and the diasporas. I think that's, in my observation of Afrobeats for however long years I've been covering this space, it's always been an umbrella term to kind of signify music from this particular stance. If you look back to the origination, or at least why it was even introduced, it was to put a tag on something that was coming from this space. The world didn't know what to tag it. There were so many like abrupt words flying around, Ninja jams or Ninja beats, Afro something, Afro hip hop. It was all over the place. There was no consensus on a term to describe the momentum that was coming from this part of the world. And Afrobeats, all it does, it's literally a marketing tool. All it does, it's a promotional vehicle for everyone to, yes, you can see it as a way of lumping everyone together, but at the end of the day, it's a description for pop music. It's a description for popular music in a certain region. If you look at what pop music, even in a Western context, there is no definition of pop music within its sound. It doesn't restrict it within its sound. There are so many, like, if you look at how pop music has been evolving, it's usually down to the times, it's down to the eras. And they allow pop music to evolve. Pop music has the most liberating aspect for sonics, because you are hearing trap one year, another year you're hearing something country, another year you're hearing, like, there's so many pockets and evolutions of pop music, and that applies to Afrobeats too. It changes time and time again, every 3 to 5 years or so. It changes, it evolves. The term is also, it literally is just there to tag what's coming from this momentum, what's coming from this part of the world. And I think we should have that in the back of our mind when addressing this conversation, because I think it will be helpful, because there is a cultural aspect to it. There's a cultural tag
Emmanuel, I just feel
Afrobeats.
like the Wizkid of SARS, the Wizkid of Malik Berry will be rolling in their graves hearing him speak. Like, anyway, what are you saying?
Yeah.
They came in very new, different sounds that you wouldn't necessarily associate with, like, proper, you know what I mean? The Afrobeats that we knew there before those kind of sounds. I just think it's ridiculous.
Okay, so yeah, any other thoughts on it? I think, who was going next, Belema?
Michael's going.
Michael, yes.
Yeah. Thanks for. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Ginger Killer Day.
Yeah. So I mean, first of all, starting with what I agree with, I think generally it's like the behavior of coming out on Instagram stories and going on rants and all that is not something you would expect from Wizkid. So yeah, I generally agree with Ima and Belema, especially when Belema said that, like, he could have done this in a different way. Like, he could have structured, maybe it was structured. Somebody, it was L. Yeah, he could have you could have told his fans, yeah, that was me and this is me now. And I completely agree with that. But yeah, that's where my agreement stops. But as far as where I disagree, I think the interpretation, I think probably because it's Wizkid. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always open to correction, but I think we're interpreting this wrong. He's not downplaying Afrobeats. No way. It was a rant. It was a stupid rant.
Okay. Michael, can we agree on something?
Let me. Yeah. Well, wait. Let me just.
No, just before we move on, just so we agree on something.
Okay.
All right. The first day, using language like, I'm not a fucking artist. I'm not a fucking Afrobeat artist. Okay, and don't call me that. Like,
yes. Okay, fair. I agree with you, but then wait, let me finish my point.
Okay, and it was like,
my point is that
so I'm just adding more things to that he said. And if you like Afrobeats, please don't download my album.
If you like Afrobeats, please don't. Okay,
that's
fair enough.
Yeah.
That was.
And please, if you like Wizkid, don't download this new album. In fact, delete my name, delete me from your playlist and your life. From your life.
Wait, did you actually say that? Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay. But still, no. Like I said, I'm always, like I said,
wild. The second day, and let's agree that the first day was wild. The second day, the tone shifted. Let's agree on that.
The tone definitely shifted. Okay. The tone definitely shifted.
Right.
And I'll admit, I didn't see that delete me from your life part. I'll admit that is actually crazy. I don't know why he said that.
I was like, whoa. Anyway, go ahead.
But my point is, he was trying to do the separation thing of separating him from. He didn't do it well at all. But my point is, this aspect of hypocrisy that everybody wants to bring out, I don't think is really there, because the reason being is that if you remember what Burna Boy was doing, he wasn't just saying I'm not just an Afrobeats artist. He was also saying things like Afrobeats has no substance, or nobody inspired me, or some other crazy shit. So
Oh,
Wizkid
should I
Wizkid
help you
said
on what
wild
he
shit.
said?
Wizkid said wild shit. I agree, but when it's not the same thing as when Fireboy was like, oh, before I came, there were no, although to be honest, people that took Fireboy's own out of context a lot, but what he basically said was like he was the one that brought more substance into Afrobeat. Wizkid he's not really insulting the genre per se as the way people are putting it. He's just trying to separate himself from those. He gave Pac Rumor as a specific example. He did it stupidly. He did it in a crazy way, and I don't endorse that. Even though I love Wizkid, but then he's not trying to downplay the genre. That is just my own 2 cents. But like I said, I'm always open to opposing views.
Thank
But
you
yeah,
very much,
that's that,
Michael. Appreciate
yeah.
that. Just to, I guess, follow up on what you're addressing, the Burna versus Wizkid, how they both approach this particular conversation. Yeah, I think Burna's approach is worse, but it's still at the same heart of it. They still came with the same motivation to separate themselves from the rest. Like, that's essentially what it is.
When
But
Burna was in front of that guy, what is the Apple Music guy's name? He was like,
Zane Lowe.
What
Yes.
is Apple Music?
So with Burna's quotes in that interview, you could see it. At least we were on video to actually see it. He was like Afrobeats or whatever they call it. He was like, it was like these people don't have lived experiences. They have no substance. All those things. I think there was a different angle to it because he kind of centered himself.
You guys are doing this comparison. We've seen one scene did one more scene. Yeah. It's really.
I think Burna. I think Burna went further with it.
Denying Afrobeat.
Yeah, okay. I think Burna went a little further with it by saying he created the fusion. I think that's the biggest gripe out of everything. That he centers himself to say that I'm the one that started actually fusing things together. And I think it's the most it's the most profound lie you can ever make or claim you can ever make, that you're the first person to start fusing music from the Western side of things and here, and it's not. It's literally not.
Let's not forget, no one inspired me. Can't forget that one.
But yeah, that's aside. But at the end of the day, both of them are still coming with the similar premise. But I think Wizkid's claim is welcoming a different ideology of how Afrobeats is being seen, and that's the conversation I really want to have, is how people see the term Afrobeats, because Wizkid is rolling with Afrobeats being a sonic identity that is restrictive, and I don't believe that is the case. And that's the that's the disparity there. I really want to have that conversation to see how people view the term Afrobeats.
That's all I have to say.
Right. I wanted to quickly address just one class. I'll wait my turn to fully give my take, right? But actually, maybe I should just wait, because, like, as much as there's a similarity to where both of them are coming from, there's also a difference.
Yes,
there is a difference, right? We can say this for sure, right? And which is what's going to be my ultimate take at the end of the day when I'm speaking about the situation, right? Like, at the end of the day, both of them are absolutely flawed, because, like you just said, Burna positioned himself as an inventor of Afrofusion is a bit of a it's crazy, because even Fela himself fusion stuff together and made something, and funny part is that Fela fusion things together and made something distinct. He made a particular thing come out of fusion a lot of things. Burna hasn't made anything particular. Burna has just made a variety of things, right? Which is even a bit different. For a genre to stand, it has to be a bit specific, and Burna doesn't have a specific sound. But I think in terms of the angle that it come from, right, at the end of the day, Burna has always been the nigga that has said, I do Afrofusion, right? I do this. I put a pizza down and I sprinkle things, right? Mm-hmm. Wiz has, which is where which is what makes me, even as much as Burna said the whole Afrobeats has no substance, which is just absolutely bad. Yeah. But what makes me respect Burna's take a lot more is that he's been consistent.
He's been consistent with it, right?
Yes, he's been consistent with that.
Thank you.
Wiz as
he just contradicted himself. He said he doesn't have a sound and he's been consistent.
No. Bro,
he's been consistent with the narrative.
He has been consistent from day one, telling people that he makes Afrobeats. That's what he's talking about.
This is how people mistake
yeah, like I'm not going to misquote.
Come on, man. Like
this
if
is
you
what
heard
I'm
everything Chad just said, how would you take?
How do you sum that
up?
No, he just misinterpreted it. It happens.
So basically what I'm saying is that although Burna's claim is false to him creating something that does not exist, he's been consistent with that false claim.
Got you.
It's a lot more respectable with that than an artist who, as of his last album Rollout, uses Afrobeats to sell that album. Now, obviously I'm going to get to a different part later when I'm speaking about my point. All right, but like
I think you might as well just go now. Yeah.
Okay. If I can go now, right? And okay, so I'll go from my transition into what I think on the business end, right? I think it stems from. I think a lot of things here stem from because even talking to managers. But let me get there. I think it's a lot more respectful with Burna because he's consistent with that. I don't do Afrobeats, right? It's consistent that it's respectable. It's a bit of an issue because what he feels he does is basically what Afrobeat is, but he just wants his own name.
Yeah.
And he wants
his name in front of it. He wants
his own thing and his own name in front of it, right? Not that he created anything, he just wants to be the face of that because it's basically the same thing. But Wiz, you can't as of your last album be using Afrobeat as a promotional tool for yourself, bigging up this culture. You've gone on interviews to talk about the Afrobeats artists that you think are up next, and then one morning you wake up for reasons that I'm about to get into. You feel like I'm no more an Afrobeats artist, right? Now let me get into my points, right? Emmanuel, you made a statement about Wiz maybe not being confident in his work, right? And I wanted to disagree, but then I'm going to agree a bit. Although that's a very harsh take, and I love that he gave that harsh take because I think to some extent you should be able to like. It's a question for him that are you not confident in your work? Are you not confident in other things? In your ability for your team to push you? Now I'm thinking about festival. I'm thinking about opportunities, growth opportunities for Afrobeat. Has it reached a certain point where Wiz feels like he has ceilinged with the word Afrobeat?
Yeah.
Right. We can look at the recent opportunity that's come into place. Even the whole Grammy talk. Maybe they feel like Afrobeat has hindered them for getting certain opportunities because to an extent, Wiz has a case. His music hasn't been the purest form of Bedu Lamba. It's been R&B has been very heavy in what he has been making. Although I still believe at least 70% or 60% of the music is still Afrobeat arranged.
And yet Tyler just won that award.
Sorry? Huh?
No. Go ahead.
But like I still hear 5-beat patterns in your beats. I still hear highlight guitars in your beats. I still hear shakers in your beats. Like as much as you are like so. But let's say he has a case based on the fact that he has actually sonically evolved the most out of the other guys. Because Burna has always been this.
Yeah.
Davido is still doing what he normally does, but Wiz has gone far left from what he used to be, right? And he might have a case there that, okay, you know what? I'm not what you guys think I was, right? But then again, what counters that point is that Afrobeats, in the pop sense of things, shifts every time. Every time. The same, what was considered the popular music Afrobeats as of maybe 2014 is not what it is today. It has shifted a lot of time. So that's that case already. So the kind of music made in Lagos was a sonic reset for a lot of things. Even though, yes, it came, I mean, so obviously, if you're a music head, you will know you maybe started a bit before that. But Made in Lagos was the biggest statement. That high life, slow, breezy, mid-tempo music. Made in Lagos is the face of that. And that's what it has flowed into records that have become even successful records over the past few years, right? Now let me get back into the opportunities case. I think it stems from a point that they feel like there's certain places they can't get to because they are being tagged as Afrobeat artists. Burna and Wiz artists let me not put Burna, right? Although on an Afrobeat level, Burna and Wiz are at a ceiling. Now, I think they are trying to break through the ceiling, and I think it's seeming very tough, right? There's probably conversations going on behind closed doors. Maybe deals with their labels, conversations with their labels, festival placements. We looked at Coachella this year, and there's not an Afrobeat artist there.
But Taj, is the solution to denounce Afrobeat?
I'm getting there. You want to? Voila. Do you get? Now, it seems like that is where this energy is coming from. Right?
Yes.
It's coming like, and I get it. It's honestly painful, right? But which is why, and I feel like we're definitely reaching a point where it's time to realize that these people are not for the movement anymore. The reason why we took this, and it seems like everybody has lost focus of, or people are not being conscious of what is Afrobeat to the world movement. is intended to do, is to create opportunity for us to be able to build what we have. If we had what we had, we will not be trying to look for a ceiling in America to break, and we feel like we're being boxed. Because guess what? The reality is that we're not American. And bro, you are an Afrobeat artist. You're an artist that grew up in Nigeria. You are an artist that you as an artist you can only pour out what you take in. You took in African music, Fuji, for how many years of your life, and you expect that one day you're going to be able to just make another thing. Like, even if you intend that you want to make another thing, then make it as specific as possible. Guess what? We have one case sitting on top of the world, because I'm in the hip hop category. That song has no lick of Afrobeat in it. If you really want to make something different, then make something different. You can't be different by posting on Instagram. It's by actually doing the work in the studio and making things that are absolutely different.
Thank you so much.
Do you understand? It's no matter how much we goes on that Instagram to shout that he's not an Afrobeat artist. If his next project comes out with P2J knocking the same fucking drums, he's an Afrobeat artist. It is not like there's nothing you can't not being an Afrobeat artist, not by what you say, it's by what you put out. Do you understand? Like, yes, your music has R&B element, which I feel like he might have a case there. But is it fully R&B, or are you blending a lot of stuff? Which is what he said. I'm a fusion of many things. Okay, they ask you what is your genre? What is your genre? I'm a fusion of many things. What is your genre? I'm a fusion of many things. That is not an answer.
Taj, and even just to add to that, we've talked about this time and time again. When it came to the Grammy conversation around Made in Lagos, everywhere R&B was celebrated, Made in Lagos was heralded, bro. Like, it was celebrated as an R&B project. At the same time, still running on the Afrobeats tag and spirit and culture. At the same time, that is proof in the pudding that Afrobeats is not restricting you. It's not.
Which is why I said at the end of the day, I think we're going to the point where we're going to have to realize that these people are not going to be the ones to take this movement any further. They reach a certain point where it's more of their personal gain than the movement, right? I want to make more money. I want to get on these stages. And it seems like this Afrobeats music that I'm doing is not giving me this opportunity to do it. So I'm going to say I'm going to do something else. Not, like I said, it's not a different case. They're actually making something different. They're just saying I'm making something different. And that is not cool. Do you understand? It's absolutely not cool. Because like in case for Wiz, Afrobeats was your mantra until when a couple days ago. You just realized, or maybe obviously that's when he said it, but as of 2 albums ago, last album, Afrobeats was your band, was your machine, was your promotional machine, right? Your team ran with that agenda. And you reach a certain point where you now feel like I need to make more money, I need to get more access, and you feel like that doesn't work for you anymore. I'm now going to separate myself from the movement. At least Wiz didn't really say that they don't have experience, which is obviously worse, but you are separating yourself from that because you feel like there's a personal gain of yours, right, that you want to get. Then make something different. Actually put in the work and make something different. Don't make Afrobeats leaning R&B and think that I'm not going to be an R&B because I said I'm an R&B artist. Guess what? These niggas are still going to put you in the world category. Burna made a hip hop album in quotes, and he was still in the world category because 70% of that music was still Afrobeats. But guess what? He scored a hip hop nomination because that record is pure hip hop, from the sampling to the beats to the arrangement. That is pure hip hop music.
That's
right?
Afro fusion. But continue.
No, it is hip hop music.
That's a hip hop song. Come on.
Seeing on Top of the World is one of his very strong blatant hip hop moments.
It is a blatant hip hop record.
Very strong Afro fusion moment. But I'll wait for my turn. I'm waiting.
Anyways, yeah, first you can wait for your turn. Bless. So regardless, I think it's high time that people realize that these people have reached a certain point where it is their own personal gain that seems to be what they're driving for, and not to build what we've had or what we're going. The people that will see at the end of the day, the IRA have not reached the level of Wiz. The Remas have not. Well, Rema is in a whole different enigma on his own, and he's not even separating himself from Afrobeats. But let's just say Rema still understands that this is the boat I'm using to go forward. Yeah. What has taken Burna and Wiz, no matter how much Burna tries to stay away from it, is Afrobeats.
It's attached to it.
That is what has taken them to where they are right now, and they feel like it's time for them to hop off the ship. That's fair. Then let's focus on people that actually. Yeah, like I'm not even mad at it anymore. Like for me, focus on people that actually feel like Afrobeats is what they will use to get to that level. Maybe when they get there too and they realize there's more money at the other side, they will denounce it. Then we'll say, okay, now you've gone. Oh, yeah, who is next? Just like, because that's what exactly it seems, right? Like people feel like there's opportunities at the other side that they are not being able to tap into, and then they decide to move away from it without actually doing the work of actually making it, which is not even the funny part. Like at least, you say you're not Afrobeat, I make rock, you're not making it. You're still making the Afrobeats. So that's my point.
He has to come with this country album for us to hear it. But anyway, appreciate everyone so far. Let's try and keep our, I guess, contributions quick because there are lots of requests on this topic. But Shakara Princess, what's up?
Hi. So when he obviously posted that thing on IG, right? I honestly did not think of it like, oh, he's saying anything outlandish. And the only reason why was because we see, and we've said it time and time again, that, oh, a lot of, I guess, non-Africans will put all kinds of artists that make different genres still under Afrobeats. So when he initially posted it, I just took it as a fact that, oh, he's trying to make a statement and be like, yes, I'm from Africa. Doesn't mean I'm automatically an Afrobeats artist. Like, yes, I do R&B sometimes. I do so you have rappers, right? Doesn't mean we're all Afrobeats artists. That's what I took it as, honestly. I don't think I did like a deep dive into like, oh my god, pioneer of Afrobeats, he can't be denouncing the thing, because I think there's still a case to be made where it's like he doesn't want everyone to be put into the same box. And I guess obviously he will say, oh, or you guys will say, oh, but he's talking about himself individually. But that's honestly how I just saw it, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, so that it doesn't look bad on him.
Thank you very much. No, because I think there's a disparity on the Afrobeats tag. Again, I think a lot why we're having a polarizing conversation now is because some people think Afrobeats is restricted to just the sound, and some people that believe it's, in the bigger scheme of things, it's literally a tool just to push music from this part of the world. That's essentially what it is, right? So,
but then again, we did that to ourselves though. So it's a box that we built.
It's the dynamic of music on the world global stage.
But if Drake makes an Afrobeats record now, he will still be called a rapper.
Yeah, he will still be called a rapper, exactly. But I think if you compare it to like reggaeton that has defined a lot of the Latin music landscape, there's not too many. Like we're not expanding beyond reggaeton and looking, oh, there's some R&B artists there, there's some hip hop artists there. They're moving with that bucket of reggaeton, and yes, there's a sonic identity attached to it, but there's also a cultural aspect to it. Same with Jamaica and the Caribbean. We obviously that's the identifier for that part of the world is reggae or is dancehall. And there's obviously they have artists that do other things other than reggae and dancehall. It's just that on the global stage, that's their big push. And I think
that's their biggest export.
That's their biggest export. And I think when it comes to seeing how genres are defined, that's why I personally believe it's to be looking away from the full picture if you're looking at genres just restricted on the sound. Because again, I'll bring the example of Western pop music. Like that's a very clear and obvious example of how the sound is not really the big determinant of what's pop. What's pop is really determining what people are fucking with on a large mainstream scale. Like that's what it is, and it shifts time and time again. Like the Billboard of today didn't look the same sonically 10 years ago. Like it's going to evolve, and I think easily I've always just at the back of my mind personally, and I've gone to the literature of this issue ever since this entire claim. I've gone to even verify the literature still points to the fact that it's an umbrella term. It's just moving as a pop soundscape from this part of the world, and there's so many things that exist under it. There's so many things that can exist within it. It's an umbrella. You can definitely come in and out of the umbrella. It's free. You can still be considered so many things around it. Just that many people see it as a box, which obviously a box is a lot more restrictive. And that's where the disparity is. I think once we come to a consensus of what the term actually means and what it actually is doing for us, as opposed to what people think is a disadvantage, because I don't see it as a disadvantage. I think it has done amazing things for so many people, not just artists, creatives, videographers, writers. Like there's so many things that like promoters. There's an entire industry and economy that's benefited off the back of Afrobeats. And I think there's a bigger picture beyond just the sound, is what I'm saying. And I think that's the disparity.
And this is why we need to find something like, you know how there's hip hop as the culture and there's hip hop dancers, art, music, dressing. We need to find something like that for Afrobeats. They need to rebrand. You'll find a different name for the actual sound.
And I can welcome the argument that Afrobeats is not the best term to describe it. And I absolutely will welcome other terms. It's just that other terms were not as marketable. That's the unfortunate time. Like that's the unfortunate reality is that other terms were not as marketable.
So Afro R&B is not marketable.
No. I'm saying for an umbrella term, right?
Right, but I think what Toby's saying is I think we're allowed to have that umbrella term hip hop versus Afrobeats, and then there's subgenres.
But people don't agree with the umbrella term being Afrobeats, is what I'm saying, right? I can actually welcome. I don't think it's the perfect, most ideal word for it, because obviously it leans too clear or too near to the Afrobeat of Fela, right? Because I can welcome the argument any time of the day. It's just literally an added S, and it gives so much room for confusion and how people actually see it. I think if we turn back the ends of time to actually pick a word, I probably won't go with Afrobeats. Personally, I'm thinking Afrofusion on the textbook end of things is a better descriptor of it, but it just wasn't juicy. It just wasn't moving people. It wasn't easy to slap on top of a festival. It wasn't easy to slap, like, Travis, if people understand what I'm trying to say, like, it's the term. It's how the word has been marketed as the sound from this part of the world. And if there's a different label for it, I welcome it every day. It's just that it's the reality that is the word to describe the movement that is happening in West Africa and the diasporas. That's exactly what it is. That's what's happening. It's Afrobeats. It's either you take it. I know Burna has been campaigning on Afrofusion, but unfortunately he hasn't connected. That's the reality.
Yeah, I was gonna say the reality of this thing is that
when will it be my turn to go?
This movement has passed all these people at the end of the day. I think it would be hard for anybody to be able to coin a better word if they feel like they have a better word. Afrofusion is not a bad shout.
It's not a bad shout, honestly.
It's just at the end of the day too late.
It's way too late.
It's bigger than Burna at this point.
But it's way too late. But
we had, and that's the thing. We had this conversation 2 years ago that this is what is going to happen.
Yes.
So why are we all surprised?
No, we're not. Personally, I'm not surprised. This argument has been there. We've had this argument before. Like, we're coming back to it. Wizkid is really just waking us up to the argument again. This argument has been had. Anytime Burna comes with Afrofusion and says it's the center of it, we still have the argument about the label. And people bring out this term to push against Afrobeats. And it's justified to push against it because it's not the most perfect word to describe it. But it's the reality, is the point that some people are coming with, like myself. I'm saying, it's the reality now. What are we going to do? Start from scratch again? Like, that's the question, right? That's the question.
Next.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Fact.
Okay, real fast. KP, go ahead, and then we'll rotate the stage because we need to get new people on the stage as well.
Yep. Alrighty. Hey guys.
Hey, KP.
Interesting conversation so far. I would keep it very short. I think I'm just gonna piggyback off of what Toby said. This has been a very glaring issue ever since the pandemic, and like she said, I don't think we should be surprised. But I think the first point I'm going to make is that, to be honest, what Wizkid said, I think the only thing that I can say was really just outlandish was his tone, using curse words, being very rude. Pushing that aside, I don't think anything he said was that deep, because at the end of the day, Wizkid is Wizkid. If he doesn't want to identify as an Afrobeats artist again, that really is his business. I don't think he does anything significant to the movement. People in the US, in the diaspora, people in Nigeria are still going to use the term Afrobeat. I don't think Wizkid, Burna, even if Davido wakes up tomorrow and says he doesn't do Afrobeat again, like, all power to them. Like what Tad said, I think
it's far gone. Yeah,
we've moved past the point of like the three of them dictating how our culture should move. Like, Wizkid has been in this industry for how many years? Like, that nigga probably just smoked a very heavy joint that day and just went on Instagram and posted it. Like, I saw it and I laughed.
That's so true.
The next day when he said, I'm a Bollywood artist, like, he even made it even more comical. Like, I never for once was like, oh wow, he's disrespecting. Nigga, no, like, Wizkid, like, if you've been following Wizkid since he blew up, you know that Wizkid on social media, you guys think Burna Boy is the one that can tweet horrible shit. Wizkid, back in the day, was not allowed to be on social media because he would just do outlandish things on social media here and there. So, first of all, I don't think it's really that deep. And two, I think, okay, now that we want to start having these conversations about, okay, what is Afrobeats, what sound is it? Emmanuel, you said something when you were giving the introduction. Afrobeats, to a lot of people is a sound. Afrobeats to a lot of people is a culture. Afrobeats to a lot of people is just a word. We, as everyone in this space, I think it's our job to pretty much define what Afrobeats is. People have tried. People have made documentaries. People have, written think pieces, done all manner of things to define exactly what Afrobeat is, the origins. But I think for a fact, it's very glaring now that we have not been able to define the sound. Yes, you can define, these are the structures of an Afrobeat song, blah blah blah. You can know the beats, you can see all of that, but there's no word that you can tell me that Wizkid and Shay vibes are in the same genre. Like, there's no word that you can say that Thames and Charlie Poppy make the same kind of music and just put all of them in this Afrobeat tag. Assuming it was just Burna and Wizkid saying, I don't want to be identified as Afrobeat again, I think I would be like, something is a little bit off. But the fact that Fireboy, Afro Life, CK, Afro Emo, Rema, Afro Rave, like literally anybody you can think of, maybe besides Thames, who has like crossed over to the global scene, has tried to disassociate themselves with Afrobeats to a certain extent. I think that should be the questions we should be asking. Why is that the case? Like, it's not just one person anymore, two people. It's like pretty much all of them at this point trying to say, more, this is my own lane. And I think them also doing all those things, saying, still attaching Afro to it, it's not them disrespecting the genre, saying, oh, fuck Afrobeat. It's them saying, oh, Afrobeat is still the culture, just like hip hop. And then under hip hop, there's trap. Under hip hop, there are other types of rap, even rock. There's alternative rock. There are different kinds of what's it called? Like,
there's a million kinds of rock, man.
Sorry?
Yeah, I said there's a million kinds of rock.
Yeah, like there are different sub-genres under the general rock. But when you say someone is a rock star, you already know what they mean. So when I think Afrobeats, I don't think of a sound. I don't think of a style of music per se. Like, I just think of, this nigga is Nigerian most likely. That is all that comes to my head and makes me. That is what comes to my head. And I think it's our job, like, especially now that we are still on this Afrobeats to the world piece, man, to just kind of like make sure that we are doing our own due diligence of defining exactly what Afrobeats is. You cannot see, so, and I always use terms as an example because I will never forget the clubhouse room where somebody said Thames made Afrobeat music, and this was before Essence. This was when she just had Try Me, Damages Them Out, and I was like, what? My Thames Afrobeats? Like, I don't know, it just sounded very crazy to me because like I'd always just seen her as like, I mean, people say Otable. I'd always seen her as an R&B artist, like nothing more. She makes R&B music. So when someone said that she made Afrobeats, I was like, I don't know, that didn't sit well with me. But I think that's just the question I think we should be asking from now on. That okay, we have these conversations every now and then about this person saying, I don't want to associate with this tag again. Okay, so what are we going to do with that information? It's not about just getting offended. It's like, okay, where are we going to, how are we going to change the narrative, pretty much?
Right. So, I absolutely hear that. The only slight pushback on what you were asking for, I think it's kind of there for the most part, at least to my own findings. It's kind of there. Like most literature or definitions around Afrobeats within recent history, at least, maybe as far back, probably different, but in every aspect of articles, documentaries, I even list the documentaries, the Afrobeats backstory, the journey of the beats. If you go to many like written articles from English, British, like Black British historians, and things of that sort, a lot of them point to it being an umbrella term, right? Like the most consensus, at least on every finding that I've gone to, if you even go to Wikipedia right now, that's what it will show to you. This is an umbrella term. It's not restricted to the sound. It's not necessarily saying this is the style of music. This is an umbrella term that is pushing the movement to this sound. Yes, there are some sound and sonic identities attached to it, but it doesn't restrict it to that. And I think that's, I don't think compared to literature, compared to like the everyday conversation or your everyday listener, there is a huge disparity there. And I think that's the biggest thing that is pulling a lot of people to the arguments or to the side of where Wizkid is coming from, because I absolutely see Wizkid's argument here. I think it's just coming from a standpoint of it being restrictive, and I think that's the biggest again, I'll say that's the disconnects that people are having in this entire conversation. But let's open it up to more people. I don't know who's next, Belema.
Pepe was next, actually.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Fax hasn't gone. I thought Mr. Fax was kind of going.
Mr. Fax is gonna go, but Pepper's next.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. The only thing I wanted to say is I really think that I think for the most part you guys have kind of like addressed a lot of the issues. Well, not even an issue. My thing was first and foremost, I have an issue with artists in general being overall condescending to the general public. Like, it does not matter who it is. So all of this F off, all of that. I said the same thing when Burna was doing Macha Macha with people's head. And I will say it again. There's absolutely no reason to be like, yes, I understand. There are certain groups of fans who are insistent on you being the same artist that you were 10 years ago, and I understand the frustration with that. And you can say that without all of this F off this, delete me from this, like being overly dramatic. I beg, off the road with that. Say what you want to say. But then, secondly, I wanted to say that a lot of the issue that I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, right, and the need for a lot of these artists to maybe dissociate from this Afrobeats tag is maybe they are framing, and probably a lot of their dealings too, is being framed by, I guess you call it the gatekeepers of this. A big part of it is America, let's be honest. Because I don't think that anybody who has been paying attention to the culture, like you guys said, Afrobeats is not the most perfect term, but I don't believe that anybody who is of the culture and has been paying attention to the culture has ever thought that Afrobeats is a singular sound. Like, I don't know that you can ever tell me, like, this is what an Afrobeat song is. Like, the entire idea of it was supposed to be an umbrella term for a whole bunch of music. You can literally be making anything. Like, it's hence the addition of the S at the end. The beats can literally be anything. I've always seen it as an umbrella term. It hasn't been a singular sound that I can just point to and be like, this is what Afrobeats is. This is you understand what I mean? But a lot of it was also rooted in the fact that you can make a whole bunch of these beats, but a lot of this is very rooted in the African and more specifically Nigerian identity, right? So there's a specific there's something specific and not so specific about the music that we make all at the same time. And I think that if you see it from the lens of the people who are the supposed quote unquote gatekeepers of the awards and the events and the festivals and all of that stuff, I can see how they would want to dissociate from the term, because maybe from their lens they're seeing it as these people are expecting a specific kind of music and this is what they are terming as Afrobeats, when we ourselves, we are just artists and we just make music. And so from that standpoint, I get what Wiz is trying to get at. However, although on top still, as a person who is a pioneer, you call it a pioneer, and a big person who is pushing the movement, right? I think it would have been a perfect opportunity to, rather than dissociate yourself, actually educate on what it is this Afrobeats term is. But coming to now make it seem as though Afrobeats is this shackle that is somehow holding you down, that is tying you from your destiny. That for me was very confusing, because it is the same Afrobeats that you clearly want to dissociate from. That let's keep it a buck, has put you where it is that you are today. Like, the reason why they are even willing to pay attention to you is this so-called Afrobeats that you shall want to come and separate yourself from. And I don't quite, I don't understand the full disdain from it. Like you have like you guys said, like to be fair, Bernard has been very consistent in his I make Afrofusion music. But even with let's say we switch it today from Afrobeats to Afrofusion. Are we really now going to come and believe that the people who are holding these festivals and all of these things will now come and think that, oh, because we have rebranded and named it Afrofusion, they will somehow give you what exactly is the expectation if we decide to rebrand? That's my question, right? Do we actually think that renaming it Afrofusion will give it that freedom that you think it will? That's one question I'll ask. And two, even if we now do the Afrofusion versus Afrobeat, I've just never seen it as a shackle, because in the same way that they have called it Afrobeats, you got nominated as a best pop / R&B male artist. and nobody batted an eye at, oh, he's just an Arab, like he's just an Afrobeat artist.
Yeah, there
In
was
the
no
same way
campaign
that
from R&B
Burna makes,
people.
nobody was out here fighting you, saying that, oh no, you only belong in the Afrobeats category. When Burna did his I Told Them album with the big hip hop moment that it was, and he got nominated in all of those artists, in all of those categories. I'm sure they played a lot of politics, but I didn't really see too many people being like, oh my God, he's only an Afrobeat artist, and so he cannot be nominated for these things. So I think it's a combination of things. I think it is maybe the way they are viewing other people view our music, and rather than actually educate as to what our music is, they want to completely dissociate from it, from this supposed shackle that they are tied to. And I don't quite understand it. And there's really no reason to be condescending. All of this F off and delete me and all, artists are so dramatic, Sha. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Pepper. Definitely strong points for sure. That I align with. I think we have
Mr. Facts wanted
Mr.
to say
Facts,
something. So yeah.
Mr. Facts. I'm sorry, guys. We'll have to be rotating a lot of requests here. So please don't take offense to getting off stage. For sure, if you've spoken. But appreciate everybody that's spoken so far. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Facts.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to base everything I'm saying here based on fact. I've listened to everybody, and first and first, we're talking about Afro beats. It is two words that comes together, prefix, suffix, how you want to put it. Afro. What's Afro? Afro is a hairstyle of Black people. That's the identification of how we call Blacks, basically. There's Afro, right? Then you bring in the beats into it, right? Fela was the first person that we know that actually, gave us what Afro beat, not with an S on it, just Afro beat. So, and that Afrobeat comprises of West African drums and sound and everything that goes with it, right? That was what Fela himself, created at his own time, as his era at that time. So that is what we all know as Afrobeats, combination of different sounds from West Africa, mainly Nigeria, the vocals, Yoruba, and everything, Igbo as well. So that is what Fela himself made with that word called Afrobeat, right? And then as time goes on, they put an S to it. The Western world put an S to it and all that. So I'm going to just put this in my own statement, right? Burna Boy did this. People said, oh, Burna Boy did not found Afrofusion. I could give you that. But one thing I know is what you can't define, you can't defend. You can only defend what you can define. And Burna Boy defined his kind of music. One, the base foundation of his music is that same Afro, the guy with the African with the dada, or what you call it, the Black man with the same Western beat, fusing it. Now, fusion is coming together of two different elements, right? Now, he fused his kind of music with the West, Indians, Canadians, just name it. And that box he created, it's an unlimited box. That's a box where if you are versatile, you could strive. I'm talking about.
So just to verify, who created the box that you just described?
That this is his own. That's like I told you.
Who?
What you can't define, you can't defend. His kind of music is not limited to this sound. So for this reason, he said the base of his music is the same African beats and whatnot that Fela created, not the Afro beats that you guys are hiding under and singing to a bullshit. He created a kind of.
You don't need to.
Anyway. Hold on, let's see. When I want to speak, right, I'll need you guys.
No, but you don't need to insult other people's work. Like in you can make your valid point without saying bullshit. Like describing music that's cultural to be bullshit.
My apologies. I will tell you why I said that, but I will come back to that towards the tail end of my submission, right? So now, when he made that whole clear point, and he said, "Okay, this is the kind of music I make. I fuse my music with sounds from this, put together, hip hop, R&B, Punjab from the Indian, Amapiano from South Africa, everything. His music is for Afrofusion is basically a sound or a genre that has versatility in it. is unlimited. He could come in here, he gives you a hip hop version. He could come in here and give you an amapiano. He could come in here and give you that Ninja fella thing that the hippie we know him for, which is what we define as our own Afrobeat. He could come in here and at the same time give you something different from what we know as African music in general. So that is his own definition of Afrofusion. And that's why when he said he's the blueprint of this is what I bring, like all of you saying, oh, he has been consistent with what? He has been consistent with the kind of sound, the kind of music he has been delivering. If he says I am not Afrobeat,
and he created this box, right? Is that what you're saying?
It's an unlimited box that doesn't limit you to one.
Yeah, you're ignoring my question. He created this box. Is that what you're saying?
That is his claim. He created it.
No. It's not. I'm not talking about his claim. I would say, know what his claim is. I'm asking you. Did he, in your perspective, do you believe he created fusion within Afrobeats?
I believe he created fusion within Afrobeat because I've not seen anybody who do that kind of.
So when did you first learn of Burna Boy? So we can put a time mark. When did you first learn of Burna Boy?
Bro, before even Burna Boy came out of the limelight. This was way back in 2000s.
And
way back before he even come into limelight. Look, I've been an OG in the music industry.
No, I know you're an OG. I'm giving you the respect as an OG.
When he came into that music industry, he doesn't want to be like, he is not giving us that that kind of music we know Afrobeat sound for. He gave us completely the different dynamics, and everybody was like, who's this guy? I was like, why is this guy sounding different from what we know? And that's when I decided, okay, let me do some deep dive to know who this guy is. And boom, it's a certain guy from Port Harcourt called Damini Ogulu. The guy is different from the jump.
You're not addressing my point. Look, you're not addressing my question.
This is his definition of what Afrofusion is.
Okay, that's his definition. I'm asking you, do you think he was the first person to start fusing music in Nigeria or within the West African context?
I wouldn't say he's the first person, right? But he said he's the blueprint.
So you're just taking what he said, not caring about what you actually know.
Listen, again, I'll quote myself very, very clear. He said, in his own word, that he's the blueprint and he bring to us what we call.
You know what he said. We heard him. We have ears. I'm asking you.
For me, hold on, let me finish. And for me, I'm giving you my reasons why I'm picking him for that, because I have never seen anybody in Nigeria that is actually doing the kind of music he is doing. Anybody. Somebody said, I do Afro rave. What is the definition of Afro rave? Again, I'm a strong believer of what you cannot define, you can't defend. If this man defined his art and said, this is what my art is, and this is what I've been doing, and he has been consistent with it, of course, you got to give it to him.
Okay.
So if you said, no, he's not, then you would tell me that is. But let me move on, right?
Okay, yeah, we'll move on and ignore that.
Okay, good. So when Wizkid came out and he said he is no more into this kind of music, like, I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of our artists has been boxed into Afrobeat, and for some reason they lose out to so many opportunities that they would have gotten with their kind of music that they do. Because not everything we hear or see these people put out today are actually that West African sound. They are not actually that African drum. Even some of their vocals are not even the same. Some don't even speak Yoruba anymore in this shit. They put some Western life into that because they're trying to gravitate towards a particular kind of audience. And if you look at, again, I always use Burna Boy as a really blueprint picture. The reason he's been going out, selling out arenas that people can't go to, and you see him having diverse fans because his fans are so diverse and very inclusive in nature. The reason he's doing that is the testament to the kind of music he's been putting out. And you cannot see Grammy call somebody and someone goes on stage and started singing Twerk Twerk. Taylor Swift will stone you. Stevie Wonder will stone you. They will stone you out of it. But when you see somebody who blends hip-hop, in 3 minutes, this guy blends hip-hop, he blends our Afrobeat, he blends all kind of music. In 3 minutes, he showed the world what his definition of Afrofusion is. So why would you tell me not to give him that mantle that he defines and push towards Afrofusion.
Okay.
Wizkid wants to join that level right now. Wizkid saying, I'm not Afro anything. Wizkid, just land there. You want to do the Afrofusion thing. Go with it. It's the new thing. Blend your music. Diverse your music. You don't need... If Ashake is well diverse, I'm sorry again. Who knows? He would have sold us Scotiabank Arena.
Okay. Mr. Fax, can I ask you a question?
A lot to say, but I would just keep quiet for now.
Mr. Fax, can I ask you a question real quick? I know we need to move on to other artists, but I think it's very interesting what Mr. Fax is presenting to us, the facts that he's bringing to the table, right?
Right.
I have a question, and it has to do with, because you've spoken about the sound a lot, right? You've shit on Twitter, you've made your point about how the sound is not just what they're doing, right? My question to you is, okay, what do you say to the claim or the perspective of Afrobeats being an umbrella term that doesn't restrict the sound, and more so a descriptor of popular music coming from West Africa and the diaspora? What do you think? What do you think to that?
That's a very, very good question. Actually, I would say Afrobeat is an umbrella that was working before for them, but what this generation of musicians and even the so-called people are actually turning Afrobeat into. So those guys who are actually doing good music, real music, don't want to associate themselves with that umbrella anymore.
I don't know if that's answering my question, but because you've described it as the sound. Anyway,
yes,
you described it as a sound, but
right.
You don't see the world where it can be beyond the sound. Is what I'm asking, really.
It's not. Hold on. Let me quickly read this for you, right? Okay, Afrobeat has it's an element of sound, vocals, language, or whatever you call it, Yoruba or Igbo and everything is beyond sound. To answer your question,
okay.
But why Wizkid and Burna has never been anywhere? Why Wizkid don't want to associate himself with that anymore is because of what we are seeing today. What people are putting out. People are hiding under the umbrella of Afrobeat and they're singing nonsense. No disrespect.
Okay.
When we talk about quality of a good
thank you, Mr. Yeah. Sorry. Let me just land this point. Let me just give you the room to land this point. You were about to say something. We cut you off. Sorry. Go ahead.
And people hide under the umbrella of I do Afrobeat, and they come out with music that has, when Burna Boy says music has got no substance, many of you are running off with that, but people are not quoting what this guy literally said. He said Afrobeat, the one with an S, has got no substance anymore. It's about vibes. It's about this. Only few people, he didn't shit on everything. He said only few people
90%,
actually. But we are not talking about it. We just generalize. Oh, he said this.
Yeah, he literally said 90%. We know the percentage.
Page. Go to YouTube, listen to Zayn. Go pull that stuff and sit down, get a glass of champagne or whatnot, and digest what they said.
Okay.
So that you don't just what somebody put out there, one clip or 50 seconds clip, and run off with it and start commenting because you have an agenda already about
that
the guy.
That is so ironic coming from you, but sure. Sure. That is hilarious. See what I'm saying coming from you. That's hilarious.
Emmanuel.
No. You know why that's hilarious. You know that. We'll move on. But thank you so much, Alade. Sorry, I said Alade, Mr. Fax. That's so funny. This guy said, "Don't take people out of context." What? What?
Emmanuel. Let me land.
You've landed. You've landed.
Lost boy, how are you?
You don't do.
Lost boy, how are you?
Shout out to Mr. Fax.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Ginger.
Yes.
Lost boy, are you I know. One of the things I will say to everybody: stop talking too much. It's okay. I know everybody has everything to say, so we will limit it. Like, let's not drag it. Thank you very much. Lost boy is gonna go next, then Gingerbread after him, and then we'll go from there. Please, thank you very much. Lost boy, you can.
No. What you're doing does not make sense.
Okay.
No, it does not make sense. Actually,
Now you are dragging it. Don't
Stop
drag it.
muting
Lost
me.
Boy,
Stop.
go ahead.
Wait, stop
Lost boy, Lost
muting
boy.
me.
Hey,
Stop
Lost boy was
muting
going.
me.
Ginger, we'll get to you, bro. Like
Stop
what?
muting me. What'd you say?
Yeah.
We'll get to you, Gingerbread. Let's hear from Lost boy. All right.
Okay.
You said
Yeah.
what? What'd you say?
We will get to you. Let's hear from Lost boy. Lost boy, please go ahead.
But do you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know that my hand has been up before Lost Boy?
Bro, there's a lot of hands up. No one's whining, bro. We'll get to you, bro. Let's do this. Like, my goodness, bro. Like, come on.
You're doing no one's whining. Are you kidding me? Is that what you're saying right now?
Gingerbread, relax.
Lost boy, please go ahead.
Problem
Ginger, you didn't, bro.
Yeah.
Lost boy, please go ahead, man.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to say first of all is it is the melanin. That is all. Like, that is all. It is the melanin. We as Black people are not proud of ourselves in every single thing. This same conversation we're having with Afrobeats, you see it in hip hop where they will say, "Oh, I want to be a complete artist," and they will release a whole different genre. Like Emmanuel has said, 70s pop music is not the same thing that Lady Gaga is making. Did Lady Gaga come and say, "Oh, this is Gaga music"? No. This The Weeknd pop music that dominated the sound waves in 2020 is not the same thing that was trending before. Did they come and say that is another type of music? No, it is just the melanin. Why do I say it is the melanin? Because, like everybody has said, they are trying to separate themselves from who? Who are they trying to separate themselves from? They are trying to separate themselves from fellow Nigerians. Who are they trying to join? They are trying to join the white people. Why are you trying to separate yourself from somebody that you have been all your life to join the white people? For what gain? It has reached a ceiling for them. And I'm sitting here being confused that Beyonce just dropped 2 Country 2-pack. Did she go on Instagram to say, "Oh, she's no longer a pop artist," or she's no longer a pop a musician? No. Snoop Dogg dropped a full-ass reggae album that tanked. Did he go and say he's now a reggae artist? You can express yourself however you like in music. You have creative freedom. Oh, I'm dropping an R&B album. Oh, when people were dropping Amapiano for the past 4 years, did they come out and say that they are now in SA or they are Amapiano artists? They did not say that. They were just influenced by the Amapiano sound and said, "Oh, let me drop Amapiano." Did even Ashake, you ask him today, is he an Amapiano artist? He's not. Is he representing the South African culture? No. So why are we like so disgusted is what I will use with our religion? No, sorry, with our culture, with our people, with everything that quote unquote is Nigerian. And if for anybody, and I'll repeat, if Santi has come out or Odunsi and come and say they are not Afrobeat artists, I would obviously agree, because these are not pop or popular musicians. The popular musicians, people that sell their music to the general masses, all of them drop their Afrobeat artists. The reason why you cannot say that a Sheyi Vibes does not make an Afrobeat song is because he does not drop music for mainstream pop consumption. There's a distinct separation of sound, which is, we can now say, "Oh, this is a sub genre that was leaning based on other cultural elements." I know I shit a lot on Twitter and whatever. But you cannot tell me that the sonic difference from Twitter to Unform is a whole big loop. Is one big moon. What, like, you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that from Twitter to Unform there are two different genres. You can't, like, please, let all of us be for real.
Yeah, there's similarities in the songs. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, now let all of us be for real. Like, at this point, you can't say, 90, like, everybody is doing the same thing. The only reason why everybody is coming out to say, their own is because, number one, these people are egotistic. Like, they think that they are geniuses, once in a lifetime people that came to earth to bless the Nigerian music. Good and fine. You can, whatever helps your creative process. But Mike, Emmanuel has been saying, there are articles, there are documentaries. Let me not say artists don't read. Artists do not read. Artists do not read. Like, you can't expect these people that are not, quote unquote, musically educated of the history to come and educate us on what they do not know. These people do not read. Describe your sound. They are not even the producers. That's the funny part. They're not even the producers. These people do not read. They don't know the history. You might think that because somebody's in the music industry that they are well versed with the musical history. No, it does not work. Everybody, quote unquote, exists in their silo of, this is my universe. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I don't expect anybody or these people to educate, like, and the part that pains me the most is these people think that they are newborn fellas. Please, fella, apart from being a well vast musician, was like a spiritual leader.
Yeah.
None of these people are that. Like, none of these people care about, quote unquote, the Nigerian masses. Like, none of these people, like, actually give a fuck. They do not. It's a business, and I'm all good and fair with this is a business. You come to work, you clock
capitalism.
in. Yes, you come to work, you clock in, you do your hours in the studio, and you get out. But please do not come and start speaking on things that you do not know. Even if you have won a Grammy, you just don't know. It's okay to be ignorant.
All right.
You just don't know. And that's all I'm going to say, that let us love our black skin and stop twerking for the white people.
Okay.
Just stop doing that. Okay. Please.
Thank you, Lost Boy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Real fast.
Is Ginger still here?
No, he's not here. He's gone. I don't know where he is.
Unfortunately.
Dara, you were saying you were trying to talk earlier, but you kept getting dropped. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Belima.
Hi, Dara.
Hi, Iman. I just wanted to say, regardless of how humorous some of the points Lost Boy made, he has basically, like, touched slightly on some of the points I wanted to make. As for the Melanin Kinney, I can't really speak on that. But I first of all agree with everyone that has said the Afrobeats rather is an all-encompassing term, like an umbrella term. Like, when someone says Afrobeats, I don't think fella I don't think Afrobeat, like, without the S. In layman terms, like, to me, Afrobeat is essentially basically African beats by Africans, if you want to completely dumb it down. If there was ever a time when, like, African artists, especially like Nige artists, should be promoting Afrobeats, it's now. And for Wiz to, like, say all that he said, I just think it's very disappointing. Yes, I agree that, like, artists are not, like, monoliths. You see a lot of artists, like, that are even, like, 10 times bigger than, like, Wiz, that started out, like, in a specific genre. You see them branching out, experimenting like with different sounds, and they bang. But for you to now come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm not an Afrobeat artist," that's very weird, considering that's how you break out. If you even said like, "Oh yeah, like guys, like the next album I'm making won't be solely like Afrobeats, or like the next album I'm making won't be Afrobeats influenced," that would have been better. But he just flat out.
Honestly, nobody would have like pushed back. Like, bro, do what you want to do.
Like he just flat out insulted like the genre and like the people like making like music, who still acknowledge that umbrella genre. And like bro, like if this is your way of like garnering publicity for your new album, considering how like badly the last one did numbers wise in comparison to his previous work, I mean it's very icky. And don't get me wrong, I'm like one of the biggest Wizkid fans, but you have to say as it is, especially for like someone of his status. And then like, so I think someone mentioned a little earlier on that like Burna like did the same thing. Like whenever they're about to drop something, they say something is extremely like controversial, and whether it's like PR or not, there has to be some other way of garnering publicity that this nonsense that we are seeing every day now. And that being said, like till tomorrow, we see someone like what's it called, Beyonce. She will still perform like Single Ladies. And when did she? How long ago did she drop that? 20 years ago. That was like pop. Today she's making R&B. Like she started out as like an R&B artist. Like she's done dance, she's done pop, she's literally about to release an album that is heavily country influenced from what we've seen so far. So like Afrobeat is not like the first umbrella term, and I don't think it will be the last. So I don't even think it's we should even be talking about what Afrobeat is and isn't. At the end of the day, like whatever we all want to call like that's like whatever these artists want to call their song or identify as today, doesn't matter. Like what matters is like what categories they submit their music in for consideration, especially like during this award season and everything. Especially like maybe in the American market, because it looks like everyone is looking to America now for validation. And like, but the thing is, what they look for right now is like if your song actually like matches up and is on par with like the American counterparts in terms of like quality and like listenership like globally, you would definitely see like your song being nominated in that category and even win. A good example of this is like, let me say, BTS, like a K-pop group.
Perfect.
Like while they haven't like won a single Grammy yet, they've been nominated about 4 or 5 times now, I think, in like 3 different major categories. Like one of them even being best album, like the biggest like what's it called, category of the night, like lifetime. And then like that's like the most popular category, as opposed to being like nominated in like categories like world album, which you'd like expect for like a K-pop group. So at the end of the day, like that's all I want to say, because like all these like everything that we've seen so far is just semantics. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Pretty much. Thank you very much. Yeah, like I said the other day, it's a semantics debate when it comes down to it. Some people believe the term is this, some people believe the term is that. The literature has leaned towards this side for quite some time. So yeah, it's still important to have these conversations, because at least we can come to some form of consensus of what the term is, so people have a better understanding of it. But anyway, we have Alade, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Fly Rasta.
Yes, Fly Rasta after Alade.
Okay.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. First of all, I want to try and defend Wizkid and also, criticize him. So if I want to defend him, I would just take a point from what you said earlier when you said Afrobeat changes over time. There's the Afrobeat of the 2010s and the 2020s and the Afrobeat of the 2000s, earlier 2000s. And I think maybe Wiz just went on Apple Music and he saw the top 10 and he was just like, I'm not doing this shit to you guys. He saw someone like Kataife or someone like Pengman call himself an Afrobeat artist, the same category that Wiz is also trying to champion. And he was like, nah, I'm out. I'm not doing this shit anymore. That's why I think, or maybe why I'm defending him. I'm to criticize him. I just feel like this attack was very unprovoked because I don't think there was any conversation about whether Wiz was an Afrobeat or not prior to when he just came out of nowhere and decided to fire everyone. Because at least with Burna, you can't say Burna own was PR to release album because in the interview, if they what's his name? If he never brought up the conversation during that interview, I don't think Burna would have said something like that. I don't think Burna would have just attacked Afrobeat that way in the interview because the guy, I've forgotten the interviewer's name, asked the question regarding Afrobeat. Then Burna was like Afrobeat in this way, and I just feel like because people were saying he was trying to be in the conversation for PR for his album, and I feel like if the conversation didn't go that way during that interview, he wouldn't have said something similar. But Wiz just came out of nowhere and just attacked Afrobeat because he saw the kind of traction Burna got last year when he said his stuff on Afrobeat, and Wiz was like, okay, I want to be in the conversation too. My album is coming out very anytime soon, and let me do the same because it was very, very unprovoked. I don't think Wiz was in the conversation for any topic regarding music genres, and he decided to just attack everyone. And then again, the issue with everyone giving themselves Afrobeats, Afrofusion, Afro Life, Afro River, Afro whatever. It's actually expected because whether we like it or not, Afrobeat is still relatively new. Even if it's maybe 20-year-old or 30-year-old, compared to other genres, it's still relatively new and people are still trying to define it because what is Afrobeat? Afrobeat is Afrofusion. Afrobeat, what Fela did, what the likes of what's their name? Fela, Ambrose Campbell, Roy Chicago, Ike Diary, Rinka Davis, even LD, Mike Falana, Shegun Bucknor, Ayoban Kole, even know this guy, Anila Collington, even K1 The Ultimate. What they did during their time was Afrofusion because they mixed
see person with facts.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I was just
because they mixed they fused both juju, both high life, both akpala, both Fuji, everything. They mix it together, and that is the definition of fusion. If we go by what Burna defined in on the Jimmy Kimmel show a few years back,
God will bless you.
That's what they call fusion. And what Burna's definition of fusion is basically the same thing, but instead of the ones the fella the high life, the akpala, the everything, he's talking about the Western sound. And the fact that he himself gave it a name made him feel like he invented something, but it has always been there. It has always been there. Afrobeats is Afrofusion. Burna is Afrobeat, but we still, because like I said, the genre is still new. Many things are still going on in the background. Many definition is still going to happen. There's still going to be many changes to the sound. Many people are still going to give their own 2 cents in it, and I understand because when I'm trying to remember this guy's name in 1946. He's the guy that invented. They call him Kuti. Kutis. He invented the reggae. He was the one credited for inventing reggae, anyways. When it came out, there were conversations about it that they don't, because of the guy's character and everything, they don't want to associate him with the new sound. Then Milas and reggaeton came out and they gave it a name. Then even Bob Marley didn't want to associate himself with reggae because of where the sound came from. Anyone that reads the history, or anyone that watched the One Love movie, and you go and read the whole thing. Even Bob Marley didn't want to associate himself with the reggae in the first place not because of the sound itself, but because of the person associated with creating the sound. So this whole conversation and back and forth is still going to happen. It's going to come. It's going to go. Afrobeat is still new. We are still trying to find our name. We are still trying to find our place in the world, to be honest. So I just feel like with the whole Wizkid thing, I just feel like why? Because it was very, very unprovoked, and I don't want to go into the personal aspect or the mental capacity of an artist because what you say on IG might be different from what's going on. It might just be catching cruise, to be honest. It might be serious.
Bro, on the first day, I thought it was catching cruise. The second day, he made it sure that he actually thought like this, and he expanded on it.
The second statement was damage control. To be honest,
Yeah.
it was damage control, and I don't think he even did it well. But
yeah,
honestly, the name of the album is beautiful. Mariah.
Okay, hold on, Alade. God bless you, because you're the first person that's been talking that has actually brought up the title of the album, and you're the only person that deserves kudos for that. Because wow, all of you were just arguing about what the other things.
I mean, the album has, that means for the name of the album is Mariah, meaning he has recorded the album not up to a year ago, because it's not up to a year for like what happened to his mom. It's not even up to a year, so we can safely say he has recorded the album.
To be fair, he could have recorded the album
just
last year.
Yeah, but
he could have recorded it and decided to just change the name.
But if he changed the name, he's going to change some things to go on theme with the album.
We'll see.
Because
we don't know.
Because we can't see. Yeah. We can't expect an album named Mariah. Then in the first verse, she tell me say she get a big booty. She get a big booty.
I mean, but okay, what was on theme with Ayo?
No, but
Ayo is joy.
Ayo was joy. It was a good time.
Listen to the album. The album had a very uplifting tempo throughout. I don't think there's any. The album was basically on theme, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only other album from Wiz that I feel like wasn't even on theme in the way was Made in Lagos. Because if I name an album Made in Lagos,
the title was off.
I would have at least one Lagosian artist on my album.
Shout out to Terry,
man. One artist there was no single Lagos artist on the album. Even down to the producer, there was no single producer that is Lagos, that like you can say this producer is from Lagos on the album. The Made in Lagos album. The album was good, but it wasn't really on theme. More Love Less Ego.
Okay, like let's start wrapping up just to move.
Well, yeah, so I'm going off topic, but I'm just saying it's very, very, very off-brand for Wiz to go off like that. And then again, Afrobeat, Afrofusion, Afro whatever, if you call something fusion, it's still Afrobeat, because Afrobeat in itself is a fusion of sound. Burna's Afrofusion is a fusion of Afrobeat and Western sound. Afrobeat itself is a fusion of different genres in Nigeria.
Which had almost a decade before Burna Boy doing the exact same thing.
So the thing is, Burna gave it a name. That is the only thing. I'm a Burna fan. Everyone here knows.
Bro.
But the only thing I will give Burna credit for is giving it a name. Not Afrofusion.
I'm not saying you created it. Not saying you're the first to do it.
I'm just saying.
Even if you want to give it credit to that for fusion.
Asha dabbled in Afrofusion way before Burna or Wiz.
But she's been mixing jazz and soul and everything with folk, with Nigerian folk. Like, bro, they've been fusions way before Burna. Before Burna.
Yeah, so even way before Fela, they've been fusing everything. Burna just defined fusing his music with the Western one, and he gave it a name, and that is the only thing I will give him credit for, to be honest. He gave it a name, and that's it.
Anyway, thank you so much, Alade, for helping a lot of the other people that can't see beyond their faves, just saying something and just running with it. Anyway, we can bring you back to where I don't sound so agitated.
Fly Rasta is gonna go next,
and then Pixel, I think.
Fly Rasta,
Pixel, and then Adeayo.
And then we're gonna move the stage.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Pixel before Adeayo.
Maybe.
Am I wrong?
No, Adeayo was up here.
Okay, Fly Rasta then Adeayo.
But Fly Rasta, just go ahead.
Yes. My fellow genius. Faris, are you there?
Yeah, he's talking. Can you hear him?
Oh shit, I cannot. YouTube cannot hear you then.
Okay, Faris, I come back.
Please,
come back. We're gonna hear from you. Real fast, while Faris is coming up. Adeayo, are you there?
What's good, Adeayo?
I'm good. I hope you guys can hear.
Yeah, bro, you said an article recently on this.
No, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah. But how are you feeling listening to all the stunts?
Man, I don't
Don't
know,
say
man.
that. Jesus,
I feel
whatever.
shocked. I feel shocked. I'm going to quote my favorite author, George Orwell, in his remarkable book 1984. He said they're going to tell you to deny the evidence of your eyes. They're going to tell you to deny the evidence of your ears, and that's what is happening here today. And I mean, I don't want to regurgitate what people have said, right? A lot of people have said, like Taj already explained pretty much everything. Lost Boy already made like solid points, and everyone already Chidera. I mean, everyone already said solid things, right? So number one, right? Burna Boy invented nothing, right? Just to get out of the way, he invented nothing. He called it Afrofusion, and that's that's just what he did. And there's nothing he has done that no one has ever done. And I dare anyone to tell me what he has done, and I will tell you someone was done it before him. And just name this type of music, the subgenre, whatever sound he has explored. I'm going to tell you, not just anyone, in Nigerian artists who have done that before him. Someone mentioned India. Before he did whatever Indian fusion he did, we had Goldie putting a bit of Indian touch to our music. We had Mucheda doing
I
Destiny
think
for
even
everybody.
Maintain
See
had
that?
one Indian influence record back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's just by the way. And also I don't, when we talk about Afrofusion, I don't like when they talk about it in the same light with I Life, Fela, Akbala Fuji. Those guys actually created something. Fela created a beat pattern. Like that's Fela. Fela and Tony Allen created that drum pattern. That drum pattern didn't exist before them, right? So that's different. I Life was the fusion of Western African melodies with the strings of Southern America. It was brought back by slaves, right? They created something. Fuji was an evolution of Islamic prayer when they were calling them to pray in the morning, called Weri. It evolved into Fuji. Akpala is the derivation of Fuji that is made for the, like, Fuji is for elite, Akpala is for elite, Fuji is for the middle class, right? So these people made something. People created structure. If you want to make something, you have to create a defined structure. Either be it a drum pattern, either be it a melodic sequence, So there's a structure to this thing. So you didn't create anything. You're just using sound. But that's by the way. Let me just like talk about what is important. Now, number one, like, you can call your music anything, right? I mean, sometimes it doesn't make any sense, but I don't think we've gone past when people will fight you for these things, because we just know they're just appellations. You just want to feel special. You want to feel dignified. But you do not have to kill Afrobeat in the process, and that is where this issue comes from. These artists feel the need that for them to create something different and for them to be recognized as a unique artist creating sounds varying from Afrobeat, that Afrobeat tag has to die. And that is where I have a personal problem, and that's where most people, they have problems, because I mean, this tag was a very cool and still remains a very cool that propelled you to international success. I've read international interviews, where Thames was referred to as an Afrobeat artist, and she didn't push back. She accepted it and just rolled with it, because she understood that this is what is going to take me to the next level. And she's in fact not an Afrobeat artist. She does R&B. I mean, Wizkid multiple times has been called Afrobeat artist in his own presence there in the US, in the UK. He never said shit. He just kept quiet, rolled with it, because he knows that the only reason I'm getting these interviews, the only reason I'm in this place, because I'm the face of this movement. I'm one of the biggest artists in this movement. So you can choose not to be an Afrobeat artist, right? But when you say things like "don't call me an Afrobeat artist" or whatever shit you guys call it, you condescend the sound. You make it look like there's something inherently wrong with the sound, and you also echo the same things people have been saying about this music. When Burna Boy said it is substanceless, it is unsubstantial, it has no substance. When Fireboy said before him, Afrobeat lacks soul, depth. You just make it. You guys keep finding fault in the sound and making it sound like there's actually something wrong with it. Call your music whatever. Like, you've made R&B, it's not special. People have done it before, and the issue is that you guys are not willing to actually do things that are not Afrobeat, right? None of you are making Rikasani type of music, or even Johnny Drill kind of R&B. You guys are still going to make R&B that carries the signifying markers of Afrobeat, that on the face it is Afrobeat leaning. It is just like Major Lazer linking up with Ice Prince and Pato Ranking and doing particular and call it EDM, when in fact it's an Afrobeat song. But it's just you guys are not actually doing anything spectacularly different, but you want to give it a different name because you feel, oh, I'm being shunned,
I'm being restricted, being called Afrobeat now just limits me to what category. And it's nice to see, because this is just ambition speaking, right? Before you wanted to get there, you understood that for me to be able to get this thing, I need to be able to push this music through a tag. Like, if you've had people like Obiasika talk about what they had to do to make the Afrobeat name what it is today, how they had to struggle, how they had to be shipping, flying every weekend to South Africa to go give CDs to Channel O, you're going to understand that this is painful, because people put blood and sweat on the ground to make this tag what it is today. So the reason why you have Afrobeat charts in the UK, in the US, and you have award categories in Grammys, in Mamas, is because of there's a powerful movement that is being propelled, and we have hit songs and big artists to push this movement. You guys cannot go far on your own. It is the fact. You guys will not go far on your own. The reason Burna Boy is big is because he's the face of Afrobeat. He's not the face of Afrofusion. He's the face of fucking Afrobeat music. Nobody is regarding him the face of Afrofusion. So it's, you guys will not, if you guys want to kill the Afrobeat the tag, and Rema go do his rave, the CK go do his emo, and Fireboy go do his Afro life, you guys won't go far. You guys won't go far on your own, because there's no movement to back you guys up, right? So I don't think they see this. They've had success, and it comes with success. To be honest, I think it comes with success and maybe a little bit of it, and a large part of ego, because before them we've seen people who are also successful. P Square was successful, the band was hugely successful. They were successful, but they didn't behave like this. So I genuinely don't understand why they're behaving like this. And let's not act like Wizkid wasn't insulting. What he said was an insult, and I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not. Who is he calling the lost people? Who is the lost person? Who does he think he is? I'm not a lost person. Yes, I'm not going to, like, if you guys are stands, if you guys have put him on a pedestal and you worship him and he calls you guys fools and you tell you guys are lost people, mumu people, and you guys stomach it and you guys explain it away, I will not stand for it. It doesn't feed me. So you guys should tell him that what he's saying is nonsense. You can choose not to be an Afrobeat artist, but you're not going to call 200 million people fools and lost people. Jesus fucking Christ. We've had, sorry for cursing, but this country has produced cardinals. We've produced crazy, we had Chimamanda Adichie. Who the hell are you talking to? What have you done? So for one, so let's not act like he wasn't disrespectful. As a matter of fact, I actually find what he said more disrespectful than what Burna Boy said. Because Burna Boy didn't call anybody fools. I mean, he's had his own time, but he just said it lacks substance. You're going out of your way to talk. What do you mean lost souls, lost people? Why do you condescend to your? Why do you condescend to your own flight?
So you need to take a flight and see the world.
Like, yes, like, why do you condescend to your own fans? Why do you people even stand these people, man? I don't understand. I need to ask these people a question. Why do you stand these people? They don't respect you. They come to Nigeria, they keep you waiting. You want to shake them, they slap you, they punch you. They don't do this abroad. They don't treat their fans abroad like this. So why do you guys stomach this thing? Why do you guys take this from them? So there's no one willing to take a bit of history, like, into the origin of Afrobeat, that will not understand that it is just a signifier, a marker, an appellation to describe West African pop music carrying Ghanaian and Nigerian sonics, right? And when Nigerian music grew internationally, it now expands to cover other artists of sub-Saharan origin, right? So you see, if you had a guy called Inos B in Congo, huge guy in Congo, Inos B was in Nigeria, I think last year. YouTube brought him to Nigeria last year, performed on the same stage with Davido. This guy calls his music Afro Congo. It makes zero sense. He doesn't have to do that, right? Because what does he do? He makes bongo flavor. He makes Makossa, Sukus, bongo flavor kind of music.
Jolombo.
That's Congolese pop music,
yeah.
Right? But he calls it Afro Congo because we understand why. Because it's trying to fit under the Afrobeat
umbrella. Yeah.
Yes, that's why guys in Tanzania are also trying to fit under the Afrobeat umbrella, because they know that is the fastest way for them to go internationally. Why are you trying to rock pull everybody? Because you thought you have gotten to your destination, you get on that destination. Like, if you want to get categories outside Afrobeat, you know what to do. You're already one step closer. You added with Essence, didn't you? And you even won an award.
Yep.
You won R&B categories with Essence.
Yep.
Burna Boy made an entirely hip-hop song sitting on top of the world, and he made history by getting that nomination. You already know what to do. The template is there. So why are you coming bitching around, like acting like a child, doing tantrums because you want to drop an album? It
It is embarrassing. It is unacceptable. And you should be able to tell these people to their faces that it is unacceptable, and not come here and have people actually kind of respect saying that Wizkid is actually fighting for the industry. No, it's not. No, it's not. He's been a child. This is a 33-year-old man being a child. He's not fighting for anybody. So don't come and explain it away. You know what to do. You know what to do if you want to get this nomination. You know what to do. You know the kind of music you need to make. But you guys will not make it. So where's Reggaeton's, where's Bad Bunny's hip hop nomination? Where's Karol G's pop nomination? You think it's that easy? You know how long it took reggae to have a category? You know how long it took hip hop to have a category? You guys just want to jump process because Afrobeat is the word. And what pains me the most in all of this is that they do not understand the huge role Afrobeat played in getting them to where they are today.
Bro.
Like you do, like, don't you see it? Don't you know that without this vehicle, without this tag, without DJ Abranti in 2012 doing the Afrobeat show on Choice FM, we would not be where we are today. Without the Nigerians in the UK and in the US mouthing and shouting Afrobeat, we will not be where we are today. That's why, like, it's just pathetic, because I do not know how they don't see this. This is something a 20-year-old can see and understand. It is not that hard. Nobody has called Ashake an amapiano artist. Nobody.
For a good reason.
Yes, and Ashake is the reason why the industry is suffering from amapiano today. He is the reason. He is the one that has caused this problem we are facing today. Because he made amapiano, it became successful, and everybody that wanted that kind of success, we are going to follow that template. Sheyi Vibes followed, it was successful. Charlie Poppy followed, it was successful. KCD it was successful. But that's besides the point. Like, nobody, like, it's just a tag. Like, it is not hard. You can choose to, finally, like, you can choose to leave, right? You can choose to say, I am not an Afrobeat artist. It is fine, but you don't have to kill Afrobeat in the process. You don't have to denigrate it and call it is harmful. It is going to have consequences, because at the end of the day, people would ask questions. They will ask questions like, okay, if you're not an Afrobeat artist, then what are you? Then what is wrong with Afrobeat? Because then you rock pull them. You rock pull them because attention gets away from Afrobeat. Then it goes to you. It goes to you, and there's nobody coming behind you and trying to call their music that way. They don't know how influential they are. All these Afro sub whatever. It wasn't a thing before. It wasn't a thing until Burna Boy started mounting Afro fusion, CK jump on Afro emo, blah blah blah, Afro rave. Like, just like for context, right? Some people sent me pressers like 3 weeks ago. I think I told TA this thing, because we had the conversation. I told him, like, a girl that just started out, like, and another boy that just started out. This girl say her music is Afro Riz. Vehemently so. She say she makes Afro Riz because she makes Afrobeat with Riz and Steez. It makes zero sense. It is traditional talk.
With Riz and Steez.
Bro,
yes,
if you've seen what I've seen in my inbox, people have come with their own tags. Like, new artists, they have their own Afro suffix. Like, you hear crazy.
There's one.
You hear the crazy
Afro Ajebota. I'm not joking. I can say.
There's Afro twist. By the way,
he say his music is Afro Ajebota because I don't understand where the Ajebota stuff come from, but they say they are kind of hotel leaning that is making Afrobeat. So you're kind of like Bodge then, right? Like, yeah, but you're Afro Ajebota, like, fine, whatever you see. Yeah. But like, so see, this is like, it is a deliberate miseducation of the next generation. The guys before you, they didn't do this to you now. Like, what hip hop has Burna Boy fused that the remedies Tribesmen didn't fuse? Tribesmen were doing, they did the Ita beat. They did it before Nas did it.
I Catch Code is literally a ludicrous song. Like,
MC Lights, they were using MC Lights instrumental. So what have you done? Like, those are the contemporaries of Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah. So there's nothing you've done that is new under the sun. Music, as far as I'm concerned, has peaked, and you are not creating anything new, but you are fusing things, which is done. We just saw Oja Piano and One Direction remix. I never in a million years expected that to happen, and I still cannot make sense of it. Because how
bro, Victor Thompson and Gunna,
like,
bro.
So it's like, this thing is going to be limitless. The reaction was on a song with an Indian girl making Afrobeat type of music in India, right? So we've seen people try to make Afrobeat in South Asia. This is what you want, but you just want to rock pull everybody because you think that's the fastest route to get to your next destination. No, if you want to break out of the major categories, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Burna Boy has done it. You did it with Essence.
There's a template. It's right there. You've done it.
Yeah, it's
Just
there.
do it.
It's there. So don't. This is for me. This is not a fight for the industry's good. This is a rollout template that is copied from Burna Boy. He practically just subscribes to Burna Boy Tantrum Premium and use it to feel that okay, this is the best way for me to just push
get
my
everyone's
album.
attention.
And yeah, it is embarrassing. You guys are grown men. You guys are 33, 34 years old men. Act your fucking age. Remember, it's a 24-year-old boy going on that stage and saying what matters, saying push the culture, support the local ecosystem, right? And this is what I want to say, because I know I'm taking too long. This is the last thing I'm saying. Now, these guys have the opportunity to impact this industry in ways we have never seen before. They have the opportunity to grow award shows, grow local publications, grow charts. But what do they say? So that's why I have anger for those excusing Wizkid's statement. You do not go on your social media with 60 million followers all around the world and say things like, and you Nigerian blogs don't fucking post my shit. It is stupid. Bro. It is embarrassing. Don't need to
They've
say
all
that.
said it. They've all said Nigerian blogs don't touch my shit. I'm like, bro, what?
You don't.
I think the funniest part is that Shade Room posted the Wizkid rap.
And if you actually notice, I went to Wizkid's story. Literally 15 minutes that story has been up. Hip hop blogs, rap alert. They were already posting it 10 minutes before. It was a calculated move to get this shit out.
Like the thing that you won't grant interviews to the radio stations locally and stuff. Understandably so. You think Fireboy will go in front of OC or Kenny or Real Skis or even Nonso or anybody, in fact, and go, or even Nelson, and go tell Nelson that before him Afrobeat doesn't have life and depth and they will not push back? Bro. He won't say this at home, but we know you guys won't say these things at home. You guys won't interview at home. So no need for you to now go and say things like, you Nigerian, blah, blah, don't post my stuff down. It is, you are harming the industry. You are harming generations unborn. Now, you guys are not impacting the media. You guys are not impacting charts. You guys are not supporting chat. You guys are not supporting media. You guys are not doing things to bring investment into the ecosystem. You guys are just there, just being driven by your ego like kids.
Bro.
When you guys had your opportunity
to
do
just
things
made me even
that
more angry than honestly it was.
So it is. These guys cannot see beyond their nose, and it is pathetic because whatever you are today, it is because of Afrobeat. And the thing is that for Wizkid, and I say this to Wizkid, right? When you insult Afrobeat, when you say Afrobeat or whatever that shit you guys call it, now you insult everybody before you. You insult Subaba, you insult Wandeko. In fact, you insult Banky W, right? You insult you even insult. You insult Osagi, who took you to the person that signed you. You insult everybody, right? And what is interesting that he also insults himself because that is his legacy.
Bro, it's his legacy. Bro,
so you are insulting yourself.
It's his legacy,
and that's
bro. It's
literally
bro, we wouldn't get here without a Wizkid. It would be virtually impossible. And it's thank you so much, Adele. You just made me even more agitated about this thing that I already have processed. I processed it that day. I was like, calm. I've already rolled with it. But you're bringing the other points about how this actually pushes back against everything that we've grown to push this particular genre and tag and culture and momentum into where it is, and to come here and just wanting to stain it there's just exceptionalism, man. It's really a cancer right now, and I hope the top dogs realize what exactly they're doing with this smelling perfume they're spraying on top of the tag. It's just weird.
Anyway,
thanks so much, Adele.
Thank you, Adele. My favorite part was when Adele said One Direction instead of One.
Instead of One Republic. Yeah.
No, the passion was there. Fly Rasta, are you back?
Anyway, Fly Rasta, man.
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me now, guys?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for your patience, bro. Yes. What are you saying?
Oh man, it's cool. It's calm. I'm not like Ginger. Shout out.
Jesus Christ.
But anyways,
bro.
Keep 100, keep 100. I think shout out to Adele. I think Adele said lots of, so it's, it's kind of good. He went, I had some issues, so I can be brief, because I think that's really the crux of what needs to be said. And I like the fact that, I think Pawai Pape, Ima has done it a couple of times, people always want to act like it's very, they don't know what Afrobeats is. And people keep telling you that Afrobeats is basically Afrofusion, that whatever that nigga is saying. And it's it was meant to be called Afropop, basically. Like, it's not that hard. And people understand, like, anyone that understands what pop is, American pop music is, understands it's not a rigid, it's not really a genre of music. It's more like a collective, it's more like it's popular music, you know, it's like fusion. It's basically, that's really the crux of it. And I think Adia has mentioned the history, like, like from Nigeria. Nigeria is actually really peculiar with that, with fusion. Like Afrobeat, fellas, Afrobeat is heavy on jazz. Like you go to jazz clubs outside, you hear them playing Afrobeat. Like, so there's a heavy jazz influence, and jazz was popping at that era. That's an American jazz era when there's there's a whole fusion that comes with it. So it's a normal thing. So when people come out and try to, but the thing is, I think it's just something telling to a lot of these guys is that three of them, they've reached their ceiling, you know, and they've realized that, yeah, they've gotten to the best they can get with this Afrobeats bag. And they now think, I think they have audacity. I mean, sometimes I can understand when someone like Burna Boy even has audacity to think, yes, he can function in a certain different genre, even though I think they all will fail, you know. But I think this is usually the consequence of when we, as a culture, because we want to support our artists, we then gas them up so much and we start to believe our delusions and then make them feel like they are better than they are, you know. So that's why Wizkid thinks he has the audacity to think there's something he's singing with his voice that he can sing R&B and thrive, you know, because you guys have gassed him up and niggas don't want to say the truth. Because Wizkid thinks he can do dancehall music. I don't know who he thinks he is. I don't know what kind of music they think, you know. And I think, and when people like me, and when we always say
So
this
to
thing,
be
people
fair,
say,
Wizkid has made some good dancehall records. Let's give it to him.
bro.
Oh yeah, what that
Because,
mean?
no, relax. It is good dancehall because you're looking at it from an
Yeah.
from an Afrobeat lens. Afro dancehall, that's what you're doing. So
Yeah.
and I think it's the audacity that will gas them up. And they now really think they can come and function. And you really think, you know, they think our years have been destroyed so much. People do not know that Celine Dion's album was one of the first albums to actually go platinum in Alaba back then, hard copies. We've heard Celine Dion sing. Then Wizkid thinks he will tell us he's a singer. And then us, we in Nigeria, we had Style Plus. We had Style Plus that said we're R&B. They sang song. And we heard
Bro.
soundboard. We had One Day Cole. One Day Cole sang song for us. Yololufe. Then Wizkid thinks will come and say he's not Afrobeat artist and will not sing song. And he think it will get to any pedestal. And that's the thing. So once people gas you up, because the thing is the fans are always going to suffer. The thing people all need to realize, and that's why a lot of people are disappointed and everything. Because the fans always like to suffer. Because they like to, when people tell you do not be stans, listen to music and do what, you know, if you can afford it, don't put yourself, don't let them guilt trip you or support the culture, you know, like the same way people are guilt tripping people about Shake, support the industry. Bro, reduce your fucking prices. You're not going to use my money to support your industry. Are you supporting my own industry? I'm a fucking plumber. Did you support my industry? I'm a fucking electrician. Like, so I don't get what you mean, like guilt tripping you to support nonsense. What does that mean?
That's
Support
another
what industry?
topic. I hear you.
So when people do not know their position, and then the fans are going to suffer because they're using it as a vehicle. They use your fame because the only reason why Wizkid's essence was listened to, apart from the beautiful thing that Thames did on it, was because he already had leverage as a popular Afrobeat singer. If it was in the trenches and he dropped Essence, no one's going to listen to Essence. There's nothing Essence. You're not singing anything about in Essence. We had Michael Jackson. What are you telling me? There's Party Next Door. We're hearing people that are singing song. Now, if Burna Boy says this, because Burna Boy is like one of them guys that say, yes, it's bad. Okay, Burna Boy, you bad. Odogo, you bad. Yes, you bad. But still, as you bad, we know that, yes, doesn't mean you can function like that. Doesn't mean if you came out like a dancehall artist, doesn't mean you can dance more than vibes. So you have to calm down. Like, bro, you can't even dance more than Stone Boy. Like, so it's like, but you can dance all and you're good. You get me? And you can do your R&B thing, but don't think you come and think you can R&B more than Usher or whatever. Like, what fusion are you fusing? It's your Afrobeat thing that is giving you the aura because you came out with the dancehall twang because that's what was popping. That was the easy way to enter America if you're not America, the dancehall route. Because Sean Paul, them, all the Jamaican guys, that's Smile and they've done it. So it was very easy for people to always want to. That's why Timaya has done his thing and Timaya is still doing like it was a thing. And Burna Boy can do, and Burna Boy is very versatile. He can do everything and do proper songs. So yes, I can understand him always trying to come out there. But if he purposely used the Afrobeat route, because he had the choice to be Alte. So if these Alte guys are saying they're not Afrobeats, that's understandable because they were not seen as popular music in Nigeria. They were seen as alternative. And Afrobeat is meant to indicate the popular music in Nigeria. So I can understand because Thames is not, if Thames saying she's R&B, yeah, I can understand why she can have the audacity to say she wants to function on that level. Because she has a twang to it. She can come from a different Caribbean type of R&B-esque, you know, Rihanna-esque, whatever pocket she can try to, you know, if she's worked on. I can understand Thames.
And
but don't come and give me
actually,
this guy.
even on terms, can I actually address it? I think even on terms, she can be both. She can absolutely be, because if you actually go to the drum pattern of many of her records recently, you can definitely hear African influences embedded in there. It's okay to say she's an Afrobeat artist, but at the same breath say she's an R&B artist as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I think she's both, but I'm saying it's those kind of people that cannot decide. Like if he's saying it, it's not so lost because already we understand that yes,
exactly,
it was a night, because she was style person that people say that your music no go sell for Nigeria. Those kind of artists are always free to actually not want to claim it because they are told in their face, bro, your music no fit sell for Nigeria. Like Nigerians don't like. Because you're so different. So you can understand those kind of people trying to function in that, but not like the Wizkid and stuff. So I think it's crazy. And I think like the blackness, people want to detach from Africa because people think for them to function optimally, and it's still the American gaze. That's why they act like they don't like the Grammys, but they all like the Grammys. And they use the Grammys as the pedestal to mark anything they want to get. Because it's still the American gaze. And that's why I understand why people were even getting pissed when Grammy that time said, oh, there's hip-hop influence of Afrobeats. And I can understand, yes, they try to make it look like it's only hip-hop. Yeah. But we can't deny that there's that hip-hop thing, especially with the way we try to look. With our cultural, we want to be American. Like we're doing Afrobeats, but we want to wear the chains and look like hip-hop artists. We want to do everything. We want to be with the most popping thing in American culture. So we are so phased in that culture that once they reach this optimal level, once they're now really entering these spaces, they're now having low self-esteem. So they're not trying to hide the Africanness because they don't want to be seen as the African people. They want to seen as normal. They think they can blend with American, because Nigerians always have this thing. They like it when people tell them that, oh, wow, you're Nigerian. You sound American. They're always happy. Every one of them are so happy. If you say Nigerian, they're like, wow, you're Nigerian. Wow, you sound like you're in UK. They're happy. I hate that so they always want to function in that element.
Rasta, they want to prove that they can, thrive on upper levels, different levels.
In upper levels. And they just think that it's like even in the movie industry and around up, even Lupita Nyong'o, she would rather not be seen as a Kenyan actor. No, she wants to be an Hollywood actor. Like she doesn't want, like there's no one really wants that African attachment.
Colonial mentality.
They like to use the African attachment as pity party to get to where they need to get to that. Yes, we are different, we are the new source. But once they now get into those rooms, they are with them. They're seeing these real big execs, maybe the Jewish niggas or all these people. They're like, let me be African. No, let me act like I'm part of the new world. So fuck all you. So that's why I can blatantly say, fuck you guys. If you like the camera, if you listen to Pac Rumor, fuck off my life. But yes, that's my guys. Anyways, that's all, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you for Rasta. That was hilarious, man.
Thank you for Rasta.
Yeah, man.
I'm tired. I think we have killed me. Where's Pixel?
Okay, wait.
Hold on. Where was Pixel? Pixel disappeared. When Pixel comes back, Bolaji, go ahead.
And
Bolaji, go ahead.
Who's after Bolaji? I think Ade is next.
Ade is after. Yeah, Ade is after.
All right, guys.
And then Blip and everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone that has spoken. I'll start.
Oh wait, Sam, you changed your name.
Yes, it's Sam. Sam has been here. Yeah. But anyway, guys, so everyone that has contributed, again, appreciate you guys. We'll be rotating the stage just to get as many people up as possible because, yes, there's quite a bit of requests here. So appreciate you guys, Adeayo, and Farasta. And then we'll be getting some more people up.
Bolaji and Bolaji, go ahead.
Bolaji, then Ade Junior, and then Blip. Oh, yeah, and because I had Max too.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you guys can hear Bolaji.
You can hear Bolaji.
I cannot.
Oh, that's why.
What's happening?
Wait, hold on, Emmanuel. Can you hear him or you can't hear him?
I cannot. And if I'm not hearing him, YouTube is not hearing him.
Yeah, YouTube is definitely not hearing you. Bolaji, go down and come. I'm gonna bring you right back up.
Yeah. In the meantime,
I'm gonna bring you right back.
Ade Junior.
Ade. Jesus. I take God beg you.
Ade Junior, what's up, man? You've been ready for today's conversation. I want to hear your thoughts, bro. Wait, is that speaking?
I can hear you. Yeah, Ade is speaking. Emmanuel, I can't hear anybody.
No, is this? I can hear you loud and clear. I guess it's certain networks, maybe. But I can't hear Ade.
Emmanuel cannot hear you. Emmanuel cannot hear you, Ade.
Please, I can hear Sam.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Sam clearly.
Okay, you can hear Sam. Let me bring Bolaji back.
Let me bring Bolaji and Ade back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I just brought
Balaji.
Okay.
Yeah, before they come on, let me just come in
real
a
quick.
Go
bit.
ahead. Go ahead, real
I really appreciate Flyer stuff for just going on that round. Like he's 100% on point.
I'm back.
Personally, what I want to say is I don't know the youngins. I think the youngins are not giving the top dogs enough pressure, right? You see the transition from Two-Face, P-Square era into the Wizkid Davido era.
Seamless.
That kind, because the thing is, if there's no overtaking, certain people will feel like they are gods, right? And there's so much overhype. Like, yes, we really appreciate you for what you've done for the culture, but these young gains should not feel small. Stop even seeing them as, yeah, they're OGs, but look, overtaking is very, very much important. Like the Jay-Z's 50% of this world. If Kendrick doesn't come onto the scene, if what's the name of the other guy, and even them today have this issue, they've not been so much overtaken of recently. So yes, we have the artist talent and pipeline, but that pipeline needs to do more strategic, featuring, collabo. Please do the press up, man. You guys to put pressure and overtake these motherfuckers, because I think them just claiming top 3, one kind of cabal. I don't want it to turn into like the Nigerian government thing. There's no cabal in this industry. It's a free market. Overtaking is very much allowed. Let the big guys continue that pressure. Don't the young guys, I mean, they should not simmer down. Like, do more collabos, put out more quality music, become the top heads, because we are tired of these motherfuckers. Somebody will come. Zingalet, because you did drop all those kind level now, you don't see it because I beg.
All right, thank you very much, Sam. Appreciate that. Balaji.
Thank you, Sam. Balaji, you're back, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I can hear you loud.
Emmanuel can hear you now.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank God, finally. How's everybody doing?
Well.
Me, I just have some questions. Firstly, how Wizkid delivered his point was bad. The pointing of itself was good, and is a conversation that needs to be had, and has been coming up multiple times. And the fact that it keeps coming up means that there's something wrong, right? One, there are two definitions to Afrobeat. There's Afrobeat as music coming out of West Africa, and then there's the sound. One, do the artists know that when we are saying Afrobeat, we are saying music coming out of Africa? Because if you look at the trend, they talk about the sound. Burna talked about the sound, Fireboy talked about the sound, CK talked about the sound, Rema talked about the sound, now Wiz. So do the artists know that when we as people say Afrobeat, we are saying, oh, they come out of Africa, not that the sound they make is Afrobeat? Because I think the artists, when they hear Afrobeat, they are not hearing people that come out of West Africa. They are hearing my sound is Afrobeat.
Yeah, that's
and that's the bone of contention for them. Because a Wiz now, since like Sounds from the Other Side, has started to change his sound consistently. And he can now say like, oh, after consistently changing my sound, I can say I'm no longer an Afrobeat artist. And people are allowed to grow. I think that's where we are not also. People are allowed to grow, and people are allowed to say, oh, I'm exploring. I don't know what genre of music he wants to say it is, and I don't necessarily accept that they may be able to create. So I don't know where they will put their records, but in terms of the kind of music that they make, the kind of music CK makes is entirely different from a Sheyi vibe. No way can they be in the same genre of music, sound-wise, which is the way the artists see the music, sound-wise. They are not saying, oh, I'm African, I make African music, that's why you people do one thing. Skepta is from Nigeria. Why don't we say Skepta is an Afrobeat artist? But we say Ladipo is. And they both rap. But we say Odumodu is. And they both rap. Right? Jendina has Nigerian roots. Why don't we say Jendina is an Afrobeat artist? He's also from Nigeria. But because the kind of music they make is different. Right? If you have any doubt in your mind, if someone says Thames is an Afrobeat artist, if you have any doubt in your mind, then that means there's a problem. If someone says Johnny Drill is, and you have any doubt in your mind, and you are still saying, maybe, it means that there's already a problem in the name. Did the name serve its purpose? Yes. Are we allowed to grow?
Yes, there's a reason Pepsi has changed their logo back to back to back to back to back to back. The name has served the purpose to where it gets to. But then they're at a stage in their careers where they feel like now the name is a problem, right? On this same space, when we're talking about Grammy nominations and the submissions for Essence, and people were saying, oh, they didn't submit Essence for African, blah, 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 it was strictly R&B. I remember someone saying, oh, but why didn't they submit it for African, blah, 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 right? It would have stand a good chance to win there.
It didn't
but
exist the song,
there was an African category, whether it's global performance or something.
It was global, which Made in Lagos was nominated for. But at the time when
there was a claim for Essence.
Yeah, there was a claim for Essence in the R&B categories. And if you look at Wizkid's campaign or his for your consideration list, he ignored the R&B categories. Look at it. So that was my bone of contention with the Made in Lagos Grammy situation. I've done a video on it. We talked about it. We referenced it. He actually didn't campaign for the R&B categories where he has been celebrated in the Soul Train, in the BET, in the AMAs. He was celebrated within the R&B context. Like he was given R&B nods, R&B awards. But when it came to the Grammy, he didn't campaign for the traditional or even contemporary, which I feel is a lot better, contemporary R&B, because he wasn't necessarily making traditional R&B, but he was making something contemporary with the R&B space, and he was welcomed, he was celebrated, made Lagos Essence, chop all the R&B like looks, okay? He got the R&B looks that he needed. On the charts, on the awards, it was considered an R&B song in a lot of fraction, and I think that's what's frustrating me with this particular rant that he's going on, because it feels restricted when in actual fact he hasn't been restricted.
Wait, but so also now, right?
But
we also have to look at. I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to also make a point that we also have to look at from the artist point of view on a business standpoint. Right. If we say Afrobeat, and we lump all of them together, what happens when they get to festivals and they say, oh, we have only one Afrobeat spot, and then they ignore a Burna Boy and pick a CK? They make different sounds entirely.
Okay, the scenario you just made.
We have, exactly. Or they say we have 2 Afrobeat slots, right? And they pick Thames, and they ignore Tiwa Savage, or they ignore Sheyi Vibes, or they pick a Sheyi Vibe and ignore a Thames.
I'm sure,
because they have just one.
I'm sure they're not going to be going off of their sound when they're making those decisions. They're going to go about how much this artist are charging and how much you're actually going to bring.
Okay, now even if we say how much they are charging, right?
How much they're charging and how much can they bring to this festival? And what's their social currency at this point? There'll be lots of factors beyond just their genre that they tag their songs.
I agree. But like a Burna Boy and a Wiz in recent times make different kind of music.
Yes.
I'm putting people that are side by side that we might say, might charge something similar. So even if it's the price point, whatnot, these are people that are similar, right? They make different kinds of music.
Of course.
Like Simi's manager, after the Wizkid's rant, she specifically even like made a tweet about it, saying like, oh, the issues of, we have just one slot, right? These are 3 people in the same price point, but make different kind of music, right? That's one on the business side. 2, whether we like it or not, it's still the white man that is giving them bag. So the white man's interpretation also matters. Does the white man know that Afrobeat is just an umbrella term? I'll be to the white man in Sony office in London.
I would hope that any white man that is researching Afrobeats will look at the literature on Afrobeats, look at what's in the text describing Afrobeats, and will understand it in blatant terms that it's an umbrella term. I hope.
Even we the thing is, we that are Nigerians, we still have the disparity.
I know. We have disparity, and that's the issue.
It depends on who they ask. So, for example, now they ask a Bankuli. Bankuli might have a different definition from Emmanuel.
But that's the gap, That's where the gap is. The gap is in people understanding in different ways. Let's bridge that gap in making people understand what it is.
Exactly. So the point I'm trying to make is I can understand why anybody will come out and say, I don't make Afrobeat music, because one, personally, I give the allowance for growth. Like, you can't grow past it, right?
But it's not restricting you, is the point.
The thing is, it is.
Okay.
At people like Wiz's and Burna's stage, there's only so much because the world still sees them as Afrobeat artists. It doesn't matter if Wizkid makes R&B from now to 2077.
So,
When they will introduce him, if someone said introduce who is Wizkid, Emmanuel, the first thing you would probably say is, oh, he's an Afrobeat artist from Nigeria. Even though in like the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, he has not made Afrobeat, or the predominance of his songs are not Afrobeat.
This is where we're different now. This is where we're complete ends of the spectrum when it comes to this discussion right here. Are you saying Made in Lagos is not Afrobeat? Is that what you're subscribing
to? It is not. It is not. We all know. We've all said it. That Made in Lagos is predominantly R&B.
Okay. Do you agree that the definite or what exactly aligns to the soundscape of Afrobeats changes?
I agree.
So, did you see influence from Made in Lagos, like into other people's artists and how they operate within the Afrobeat space? Did you see any influence of that album?
Yes.
Did it shape?
I did.
Did it shift? Did it help shift the soundscape of Afrobeats?
Yes, it did a bit.
So why is it not an Afrobeat album?
But mention songs that are similar to Made in Lagos.
I can give you a lot of Omalay's discography that actually has that same appeal to it. Fireboy as well. There's a contingent effort in slowing down the tempo. The R&B elements have been there in Afrobeats. R&B is a huge core in terms of the participation from Banky W to One Day Cole. There's been R&B roots in Afrobeats from the get-go, and that even goes to show why it's not so far off to tag it as an Afrobeats album, because there've been instances of fusing R&B with R&B delivery from a vocal standpoint with your language, with your rooted pidgin, and that we're not seeing drum patterns on top that are even now bringing it back home. Like P2J's,
are you essentially saying Made in Lagos is an Afrobeat album?
Yes, it is, with a full chest. And guess what? It can also be an R&B album too, because it was considered an R&B album. It can't just be one thing, and that's the whole contingent now that you're saying it's an Afrobeat album, so it cannot be something else. Of course, it can be something else. Being an Afrobeat album is just contextualizing where it's coming from. It's contextualizing that this is the influence.
This is the disagreement.
This is the influence of this sound. But you can even hear it. You can even hear it in the sound, in the delivery, in the language, and in the drum patterns, bro. You can hear it. If you wanted to get academic about Made in Lagos, it's an Afrobeat album. You can hear R&B in it, but it's an Afrobeat album.
If you say so, I don't agree.
What do you mean if you say so?
That's an Afrobeat album. But if you say it
it's not if you say so
case.
And that's the disconnect with Wizkid. He thinks he's not making Afrobeats. Meanwhile, Afrobeats has been shifting every 3 years, bro. It's been shifting. It's not a sound. It's not restricting you to a soundscape. It's not. Within an album, you're getting so many. Within Kiss Daniel, you can see the most quintessential Afrobeats album or artist. If you go to Kiss Daniel, you hear deep R&B, you hear deep dancehall, you hear deep even like country or folk elements in different aspects. It's never a sound thing.
Which is, we still come back to the same thing. The artists don't understand it is not a sound thing. To them, it is a sound thing.
We're having this conversation. We're not artists. Can we agree? Can we both agree? Can we both agree on what it is now? Since we're not, we've decided we're not artists. But can you then see how saying Made in Lagos is not Afrobeat is crazy? You don't see that?
I don't see it. Unfortunately, I don't.
Anyway, we don't spend too much on this Made in Lagos point, but it's crazy to not see it as an Afrobeat album. It's crazy. It's absolutely like wild to not see it as an Afrobeat album. That's so funny to me. That's hilarious. Anyway, Bolaji, please, I guess help us finish your point, and then we can get to
essentially, my point is the disparity in the definition of Afrobeat alone brings it up for conversation, and that we all need to understand that there's room for growth. Like, because they named it Afrobeat doesn't mean at a point in time it would never be outgrown, and there would never be a need for a change of name, or a need for a rebrand, or a need for a redefinition. It's not cast in stone. The same way some set of people came together and said, oh, let's call it Afrobeat, and everybody went with it.
But the growth that you're saying it's not allowing you grow. You're still growing. At the end of the day, you're still growing. With this Afrobeat tag, you're still growing.
For the upcoming guys, they are. The guys at the top, they don't have
even Wiz, bro. You think Wiz will have won a freaking R&B award in America without Afrobeats being the selling points for it? Come on, let's be realistic. Every promo run, he never denounced it. He never denounced Afrobeats attached to the album. There's so many tags you can attach to an album. It's an album. It has 10, 15 tracks. Of course, not everything is going to sound the same. Let's be realistic. Of course, not everything's going to be one label and one tag. You can be multiple things. Go to Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Hip-hop, R&B. Why not? Why can't it be both? Why does it have to be one thing? Why? Why are we saying it as if it has to be one thing? Like, it can never be a world where it can be both. Where it can be R&B, where it can be Afrobeats. Like, we can embrace those two tags to it. And it makes sense. From a cultural standpoint, from a sonic standpoint, it makes sense that that's the tag attached to this album. It makes perfect sense. There's no reason to see it as something not an Afrobeats album. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like, it's telling to see anyone that will look at that album and say it's not Afrobeats. Like, it's a bold-faced lie. It's a bold-faced lie.
If you say so. I'm done with my point.
Bro, sorry, man. I'm like, bro, it's just wild. I'm still processing it. How it's... Anyway, from coming from the artist himself. Hey, anyway. Where are we? Sorry, guys. I don't know why I silenced everyone in the room, but like, it's... Bro, that's the case, man. Like, there's no world where it's not an Afrobeat album. Anyway, Ade Jr., please.
Yeah,
Oh,
Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank God, bro.
No worry, Afrobeat has come to stay. Because of recent, over time, I needed to reach a conclusion that it's a culture. It's not really about the sound.
God bless you.
And I want to agree with my namesake. Because Burna has nothing to lose. Why? Because let me say it, because Burna has never recognized himself as part of the industry. Wizkid has more to lose because he has been the industry baby. He has been branded into the system ahead of Burna. So Wizkid can still retrace his steps, maybe correct what he said, because generally they always attach more of Afrobeat to Wizkid than compared to Burna, because Burna has always been on that part. So, but I don't have any issue with what he said. He's entitled to opinion on that, because I've even added Afro Bollywood to my bio, if you see. So I'm expecting his next album. I want to see whatever I want to say another. So, what I'm here for is I want to call out the hypocrisy from some boss in the industry.
Please
must have seen my tweet on the timeline. So let me just say what I want to say.
Yeah.
At first, this is one thing I love about Egbon Adeshokwe here in the UK. Regardless of whatever any artist says in the industry, whenever you interview that Egbon, he will never come for that artist. He will even try to embrace whatever that artist has said, even if that artist is wrong, and try to shape it out. Okay, it is still under one umbrella. He's still our person. This brings me to Bankuli. The last time something similar to this happened, this man was awake all night. He joined this place, and he was screaming as if Burna Boy snatched his wife, woman, or Burna Boy collected.
Sorry, was this Bankuli?
No, please, allow me.
No, I'm just asking. Sorry, I missed it. My mind was somewhere else.
No. I came purposely because of him. I came because he was screaming.
Bro.
He was screaming as if Burna Boy stole his money. Unfortunately, he went oblivion this night. For the past few days, I've been refreshing his page. He's yet to say something about Wizkid. This is uncalled for. This is hypocrisy of the highest order. Or because you feel that, okay, you have sentiment for a particular artist, you're free to have your own sentiments. but I told you on the time like that, I want him to be on this page tonight. But unfortunately, no, please.
I actually forgot to.
No, Iman, please. Please, I never. Unfortunately, he's missing tonight.
Yeah.
And this shows if he's listening to me on this space with his Burna account, Mr. Bankuli, you are an hypocrite, a big fool hypocrite.
Okay, you don't have to call him a fool.
No.
Oh, you get a big fool.
No.
As an FUL.
Okay.
Let's not.
Okay.
I understand you disagree with
I take
him.
it back.
But let's not call him a fool or
I take
any
it back. I take it back
disparaging.
because I respect your platform.
Yes, please.
He's an hypocrite.
Don't carry us
let me
Insta
just
blog
finish
again, please. We don't want.
Let me just finish what I want to say.
Okay.
Now, here is my point. My point is, that night he came on this place and he was narrating the story of David and Goliath for us. How Fela met Burna Boy died.
Sorry to interject. Has Bankole said anything about this topic so far? Do we know where he is?
No, he hasn't. Said anything.
Okay, we don't even know what his stance is. I'm coming at him.
Not yet. Maybe.
Okay.
He's not a hypocrite. Second coming of Jesus Christ.
Have you heard from him? Has he addressed Wizkid? If he hasn't, I can absolutely message him at some point after this call. I don't have my phone with me right now, but I can absolutely reach out to him.
He will never
and ask him. But trust me, based on his principle of what he said, I don't see him shifting one bit.
Listen to me. Let me just tell you the truth.
Right.
He will never come for Wizkid. He knows how to lick Wizkid ass.
Wait. What makes you think he cannot come for Wizkid?
He will never.
Why?
Okay, no.
Did Wizkid tie him at his hip? Did Wizkid put food on? I mean, yes, they've worked, but does it mean they've put food on his table? He has worked with Burna before too, so he still went at Burna.
What you said?
He has worked with Burna before. Yeah,
I don't know about that one. I think maybe he wanted a year remix. Maybe wanted a year remix.
Yeah, Bankole has supported and has been the foot on ground for so many artists. But it doesn't take away from his point of calling them out. I don't see it as a case of that. I don't think there's anything that would stop him from calling out Wizkid if he wanted to. If we actually get a stance from him, then we will definitely hear what he's saying. I don't think we should then now go with the conclusion that he's a hypocrite, but we don't know what he thinks about this Wizkid situation.
Emmanuel, I'm going to ask you in 2 days' time.
Okay.
On the time like that, I want you to give. I will be expecting a feedback.
Again, let's not do this thing where I am saying he's going to push back against Wizkid. I'm saying we don't even know where he is. Let's all the Stan accounts.
But when that clip
in this conversation, listen to me now. No, I'm just saying. I'm just putting a disclaimer for the Stan pages when they actually see.
Emmanuel, I'm sorry. You can't speak on behalf of Makuli.
No, I'm not. That's exactly what my point is. I am not speaking on behalf of him.
That's what you are trying to do.
How is he speaking on behalf of him, Edjo?
Wait. You said that you won't expect maybe it won't.
It's a speculation. Did I say it's a speculation of what he has said before and what versus what he will say now? That's all we do in this conversation. We speculate every time. I'm speculating that he's not going to change. I'm not saying. I'm not speaking for him.
Emmanuel, I don't want us to drag this. You do know that since Wizkid said what he said, that Egmont has dropped like 2 to 3 tweets.
Okay, what has he said, please? I don't know. I actually have not gone on his page. Please help me.
He was just no. He became Aristotle all of a sudden. He was just writing some. It became Aristotle, like all what he has.
Okay, wait. Has he said anything? He said little or small, big or massive, plenty.
He said wisdom and knowledge or this thing. I don't know. He became King Solomon.
This doesn't seem related to the topic. I don't think he has dropped anything on the topic yet, has he?
No, he's trying to chase clouds. You know what?
Wait. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. Let's work on what has been said. Let's not. You understand? Like we can make speculations, but let's not tag a person a hypocrite when we've never even seen what they have said the second time around. Like that doesn't make sense.
I didn't know Twitter is an hypocrite. I say what I
said.
Okay, please.
Do you know what definition of hypocrite means?
He's an hypocrite. I saw what I said. I said what I said.
Okay.
I'm holding on to this shit. I said
it. Can you give me like 5 seconds? Can you give me like
okay.
5 seconds?
Please help me make sense of this, bro.
I would like to jump in here that like Ade holds a very strong sentiment, right? That is not singled out to him. He's not the only one that thinks that way. But I believe it's a very strong sentiment. Do I agree with it? No. But it is a sentiment that he has. Now, the issue and what Emmanuel is speaking to is that we cannot say how Bankole will respond to something if he has not said anything. The problem is that here, what Ade is pointing out is that him not saying anything is an answer in and of itself. Because in Ade's opinion, when Burna did the same thing, Bankuli said something. So Bankuli choosing not to say anything is him giving you the answer already.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. That's a better argument I can welcome. That's a better argument. That's a better argument I can welcome. Actually,
I don't know what is in Bankuli's head. I don't know what Bankuli thinks. I don't know if Bankuli.
Yes, we don't know that.
I don't know what Bankuli is thinking about. But that is what Ade is speaking about.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
In and of itself, him not saying anything is a response.
That makes better sense to tag it as that. But again, I'm just adding it to the fact that we've not heard it. And again, listen. Again, the other time he wasn't even. I didn't even strictly invite him. He just came to spoke. So I am going to actually make the effort.
No. Anything about Burna, he loves.
And that's what Ade is saying is that like.
Okay.
That's what Ade is speaking
again,
to.
I
voluntarily.
I think we can move on for this. Like
no, I understand at this point. I think Belema has placed it.
What Ade is saying here is very simple. You said it also yourself. The last time you didn't like he just showed up here and he had a rant about Burna, which is true. But the fact of the matter is that nobody had to say anything for him to show up here.
Right.
So Ade
I think that makes that's a better argument.
Ade saying you don't have to say anything. Like he would have shown up here by himself. That is his opinion.
Okay.
Do I agree? No, not necessarily. But at the same time, that's what Ade feels. And
it's a better argument if that's your position.
Let me just round up. Let me just round up. Emmanuel, I don't want you to be disappointed. He will never say anything about Wizkid. Not what I said tonight.
I'll ask him personally.
And finally, I feel Burna don't really recognize anything called B3 because Burna has always Burna has always seen himself as
different. Yes.
I am the only one that is perfect, like of which he is not. So like you see that's one, that there are some views that I have about Burna that some outsiders don't agree with. That's why they I know but so now here's the issue. I feel people like Bankuli, Adeshokwe, all this they are still the ones that can talk to this guy. They are still older than them. But yes.
No, I hear you.
Yes, in terms of age, they are older than these guys, and I feel they can. But they are not. I don't know why they are not doing it, because Bankuli can. I'm sorry, I'm coming for him because I just needed to say my mind. Right. Bankuli can sit us down for 3 hours and talk about how related like Burna's dad and Fela mom and this thing, how he went to their family house and all that. But he will never sit us down and try and correct some things in the industry. He always loves to sit us down and pick a side and trying to backstab a particular artist. That has always been his own. So he moves like he moves like a stand. Like a Gwadubo stand. That's how he moves.
So which of his stand? Who is he a stand of? Wizkid this time around?
Bankuli is like an Gwadubo of Wizkid FC. So there's no difference between.
So you think he's a Wizkid FC stand?
Yes. There's no difference between Bankuli and myself that used to be a retired stand.
Wait, you retired?
Yes, I don't.
I'll not lie. I just saw you as a, Like,
no. You've not been paying attention.
No.
You've not been my
bro. I mean this respectfully.
You've not paying attention to my.
No. I mean this respectfully, bro. I think
you owe me an apology.
No. See, I did this. I'm not trying to do that. I didn't know. No, I'm saying this respectfully. I'm saying that I saw you as someone that, you can be a stand. There's no fault in being a stand. I think that's a normal, rational thing. I think you can be a stand that still contextualizes and processes information and still you're objective is what I'm saying. I'm saying like you made it clear who you're a stand of, but you're always objective in every case by case situation. That's literally how I saw you, respectfully. I'm not saying all stands cannot think objectively. There are stands that can of course have engage normal like conversations, but there are also stands that don't have minds for their own, that they need a group to align with in order to like think or make a coherent thought. Which, and bro, like I'm not saying that's you at all. Like you're not. Bro, like trust me, I've come across a lot of flavors of stands. Just trust me that not everything is bad. Not every stand is terrible.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. So that's just it generally. So that's just it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, bro. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thank you very much for
I love when you speak. Just so you know, bro.
For qualified one.
Yes.
Ade, you are very welcome.
Ade, I love when you speak, bro. It's always a great conversation, man. I love it.
My head was spinning. My head was spinning as if people were
No, Ade, shout out to you, man, for coming up, bro. Thank you. Anyway.
Blip.
Yeah.
Wizkid FC.
No. See, Blip is another stand that has objective, opinions. Like he knows how to address case by case situations. But obviously he shows his card that, hey, I'm a Wizkid stand. Like you always know, and this is great.
You know what's so funny is that, first of all, I just want to say, before Blip goes ahead, I just want to say, you know how serious this P is. It's so serious that Blip thought yesterday was today.
Was it? No, it wasn't Blip. It was Michael.
Was it Michael?
Yeah, it was Michael.
Nah, I thought it was actually.
No, you thought.
I thought it was.
No, it was probably
Blip
both of them.
actually thought the space was yesterday because Blip said that he goes, oh, when are we going to talk about this thing? I need to defend my
Yo, this topic has been scratching everybody. Trust me, everybody's been feeling it. Anyway, yes, let's go, Blip. What's good?
Nah, man. Like,
come on, defend your.
You don't even understand. Yesterday. I was like, let's just get this over with, man, because I know people will drag him. People will drag, and Adia and Splash. Oh my god! And everything that they said was truth though. So it was like, they give my dollar close marking. Taleno, more the thing hard, and they do it with facts and figures, with truth. The worst is not like I agree with most of them. You know, it's like a conflict between my rational and emotional thoughts. But
oh my god.
Anyway, but just to lay the basis here. I don't excuse anything that Wizkid did, and like to be honest, a lot of the things that has been said, I agree with a lot of them. But I'm just gonna open a degree of freedom, like when you give something a degree of freedom. I just want to do that with in terms of like and I'm gonna be coming from the part of the perspective that Taj was saying in terms of like in terms of them feeling stuck. I will expand on that a little bit, but because I wanted to again address the point of like his album, Murayo album. Maybe Baba was trying to prevent, because you know there was the situation with Made in Lagos as well, like the sound expectation, both from the local audience and like the international audience as well. May not be say because say album na Murayo na they expect to be doing like, okay, why is your album Murayo and you're singing like The Weeknd or something, because like the Made in Lagos, you're singing about Made in Lagos, there's nothing about Lagos and all of that. And even when in the thing where it was saying album done and all that, it was saying that, and that was when it was like, if you're expecting Bakurumo, don't listen to the album, don't even download the playlist and all of that. So, you know, I think maybe the kind of things that people have been saying in terms of, the one Wizkid of this, the one Wizkid of that, maybe it got to him, and like he don't get shin for it anyway. So maybe if he's gonna say, it's not, unless it's like in an actual professional interview, that's when he always seems calm and collected. But when he's tweeting, when he's posting on Instagram, nothing he says most times makes sense, to be honest, and he lies a lot anyway.
So like only in professional settings does it seems to be calm and collected in his response. So maybe that kind of like got to him in terms of people saying, and you know, there's also the thing with the more love less ego as well, like in terms of it was an extension of Made in Lagos, but also doesn't seem to have like the commercial appeal and like the constant like, okay, we want where's the Wizkid of Bakurumo, want the Wizkid of that.
Right.
And so maybe that was one of the things where it was like, okay, like that is again, which goes into part of what people are saying in terms of, we see Afrobeat as both the sound and the culture, but when all these artists are defining it, they only see
the sound. Yeah.
They only see it as the sound. And like when he looks, but all these are maybes anyway. It's not.
I feel you. Bro, you're making a lot of sense. Yes.
It might just be that it's just crazy, and all this is not really what's happening. It might just be crazy anyway. But it's just that the degree of freedom again, because if there's possibilities there, it should also be given the degree of freedom. Like, you know, in terms of people keep calling him when he feel like he has outgrown those stages of pure Afrobeat, or also considering the fact that, you know, there's also the thing with, I don't want to say old people, but in terms of them being stuck in certain ways and with the way they view things, the way in terms of the starting of Afrobeat, there's a particular sound pattern to it. And it feels like it's evolved above that pattern, is delivered consistently on different types of beat pattern that is significantly different to what he grew up with it as what Afrobeat is. And people keep calling him back to those sound of what. So it's like, even if you want to say that, okay, Afrobeat has improved, Afrobeat has evolved, people keep calling him back to that Afrobeat sound again. And so it's more like, I've grown past that. I've gone past what you guys are calling Afrobeat and all of that. And if Bakurumo is what you want, you're not getting that, or something like that. So that might be one of the triggers for the rants. Yeah. Obviously, it wasn't stated clearly and all of that, and it was also misdirected and anyway. But that might be one of the triggers. Another part is also like
sorry to cut you off, but it just hit me now. Like, this man had R&B songs on his debut album, like Giddy Girl. You listen to that record. That's an R&B structure of a song, like from top to bottom. But no one really will come and tear his shirt and say, "Oh, you've never done R&B, or you cannot make R&B music." Yes, he can. He can make influences, but obviously, like, there's the identity of being African. There's the identity of being Nigerian that will always show up. It's gonna be in your language in most cases. Some cases it can be in the percussions, it can be in the drums. Like, it's going to show in some angle. And it never was restrictive. It never said that this is the only sound you're supposed to make. If someone came out to say Superstar is not an Afrobeat album, I would laugh him out the room. Like, it's...
But the thing will be like, in terms of the absolute, or is it absolute or relative? Well, like, when you look at it absolutely, what the sum total of the sound of the album or whatever it is, it has a particular sound leaning part, which is, there may be different parts of sound on it, but the overall is still Afrobeat in its core form.
Right.
And the what you said will lead me into the part of, like, in terms of maybe in terms of, because again, when he was backtracking, he still says like he's still an Afrobeat artist.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why I'm giving the degree of freedom, like,
of grace,
because you can't dispute the fact that he's one of the people that Davido doesn't have, that because Davido is just Davido. Burna doesn't have that because Burna has always been Burna again. Burna has always been dynamic in a way from the start. Yeah. He's the one that's always feel the most pressure of people calling him to come back to certain sound that he feels is no longer needed. And like, he still sees himself as an Afrobeat artist. Maybe what the problem is an evolution of the branding. It's not a problem per se, because when you consider a lot of the things that Adeayo said, it's not essentially a problem per se, because that's what brought you there. But you can also agree that there are times where the starting force that overcome the current inertia, it might not be enough to sustain getting to certain points from a selfish or from a personal perspective, because when you consider where these guys are, they feel like they've touched everything that Afrobeat they could touch with Afrobeat, and now going to the next level. Don't look at it from the market perspective now. This is from an individual. You can class it as selfish, you can class it with whatever, but on an individual perspective, they feel like they are stuck with where they are. And I get your point that you've raised multiple times in terms of it's not a prison. There is a lot of degree of freedom as well to experiment with Afrobeat. But what my reply to that would be that it's about perspective. It's about, because from our perspective, we understand this basis. But from the people they are marketing to, from the market they're trying to break into, from the level from the place they're trying to get into, that label doesn't change. That label is a prison to them.
I disagree on that. Because there's evidence to show that they don't restrict him because he's an Afrobeat artist.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. It's not even.
Bro, the charts, R&B, the songs chart in R&B charts, bro. Like urban radio, like urban R&B charts, they are there. In awards, they are there. They are the center of the occasion.
Did Essence get on Billboard? Did they stop it because it was Afrobeat?
Like, bro, they still ate it up. Regardless, you can't even make the argument they ate it up because it came with a different feel. There was a novelty that came with it.
No. I don't disagree with that. My point is because there is also like the back end conversation as well in terms of grouping and that's because it's not entirely there is an ego trip as well, because it's entirely like how they see themselves again. Because
it's all ego.
Yeah. Obviously, it's all ego. That's been established. It's all ego. Every artist has an ego trip anyway. It's all ego. But again, I'm saying like this can be some of the triggers why they feel this certain way in terms of going about it. The way they're going about it, the way they're talking about it, can be wrong. But like, in terms of them feeling stuck with where Afrobeat is, because they feel like the marketing or the branding has taken them as far as they could, and they've branched out more to also show that they are not limited by this genre. But the people, the people both on the people that they are going to still kind of limit them to this. And like it's for example, okay.
Can I just respond to what you just said? Now I completely hear your point. So can I just respond to it? Then show walk-ins. If you really want to quote unquote expand beyond Afrobeats, make the contingent effort to make something else, right? Within like, if you want to go knee deep into R&B, even though you're already considered R&B in a lot of rooms, you can go knee deep into it. If you want to go into country, go knee deep into it. Burna Boy, he wasn't restricted, bro. He wasn't restricted.
Okay, Emmanuel,
he was in hip hop categories because he made a hip hop song.
What if the Workings is now this Mariah album and he's just telling you people now?
Bro, they can't show no work.
Listen. If Wizkid wants to show Workings, we will welcome the Workings. The Grammys, they will welcome the Workings because they've already set a precedent that they're not boxing you. If you make something that fits in another category, guess what? Campaign for that category, and then people reviewing it to see if it fits, right?
Yeah. What? No, you're right. You're right.
It's as simple as that. It's not a prison. It's not boxing you.
You're right. If you show Workings, but and I'm saying, what if the Mariah album is the Workings that is trying to show?
We don't know.
And Baba's just going about. Yeah, we don't know.
We'll come back to listen to it.
I'm just sorry.
Having Charlie Poppy in a room tells me a lot, though. It's funny to me.
Bro. Yeah. Sugar, continue, Emmanuel. Like, he's literally rolling around with Charlie Poppy. He's literally rolling around with Charlie Poppy. And trying to tell me that's the person that is good to make. See, bro. Like, let me give you. I'll give you a quick example. There's a nigga called
struggling. There's a
nigga called Odile. From the UK.
Bro, fire.
Came up on Afro swing and Afro beats. Can't listen to his last release. He has been knee deep in R&B.
He's wrecking with Red Fires right now. Like he's rocking sonically with Brent Fires. He's on that level,
bro. He has freed it. See, when you free it, we will know. You will not come and tell us on Instagram.
We'll know what the sound is. We'll know what is influencing it, and we'll walk away.
It's not by carrying Afrobeats and mixing the R&B that you would. That if you feel like, oh, these Afrobeats I'm making, it's not allowing me gain 10 million fans. I need to go and do rock music. Then do rock music, bro. You get the fans if you are good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's I'm not disputing that anyway, but that's just I'm just providing a caveat, another part to look like from the personal perspective and
I love that here, bro.
They might be stuck. Another thing that someone raised that I find quite interesting is like in terms of the coming generation not giving close marking. I feel like that might be one of the reasons why a lot of the top artists are going on this staggering ego trip. Like obviously artists will always have ego trip, but like this is just like, because when you feel the heat, because the transition from like the Two-Face, the Banj to like the Wizkid, the transition was you slow down, you snooze, you lose. That's the transition. But no one is giving this guy Zenifier anyway, and like that the big three, I feel like that person fully captured it. They heard it though, but again, it's that might be the younger generations need to do more, and that's why I wouldn't understand why the younger the ones that have not really. Anyway, let me not even shit on them. But that summarizes my point. But before I go, please, you people take it easy on my idol. I know you don't miss Yan, but you people should take him easy. I beg, and I beg.
See, if you take it easy, guess what? They'll run outside and call us hypocrites because then at the end of the day, we're working on principle. We're working on principle here, bro. If there's someone that is obviously going against the set principle that has been established, we will address it. We will.
Alright, cool. Yeah, but I'll be listening. If you fly Rasta, you can do. Anyway.
Anyway, thanks, Blip. Appreciate it.
Welcome back.
No, Blip, definitely please come up more, man. And we needed this in this discussion because I could feel many of the points were leaning towards one side, and trust me, I love when we get a little pushback. It's much needed for a good conversation. So yeah, appreciate you, Blip, for that.
Yeah,
I think it's
Max Harry. How are you?
Yeah.
Hey, Belma. Hey, Iman. What's up? What's going on?
Wait, who's speaking right now? Max. What's good, man? Long time.
Yeah, what's up, man?
We did.
All right, cool. So quickly, this thing, I want to speak from the perspective of identity, legacy, from that angle. I feel like, obviously, there are certain rooms these guys are going into, or there's some information they have that we probably don't have, I feel. And I feel that at a certain level, when you've had an exceptional career, when you've led for a long time, what I see with what Wiz is saying and all that is those are the markings of a desperate person. I'm sorry to say, okay. Then, because you don't throw away 14 years or 13 years like just like that. Nah, there is something. It's like there's an apple somewhere that you're trying to pluck, and it feels like you feel that everything you've become or everything you've been, your identity so far, is a hindrance to that thing you're trying to get. And it probably also doesn't help that there are maybe you've seen examples of certain people trying to get maybe into the American market, and you see how seamless they're getting in, and it feels like, oh, the only thing stopping me is this tag. Like, I need to strip this tag off myself so I can get in. Unfortunately for you, you're a 33-year-old man. Like, fully formed 33-year-old man whose entire adult life has been based on this same tag. And I feel that, look, you have to sometimes accept that, look, this is who I am. Okay? The role you played with Made in Lagos, which was largely successful, may possibly just be the way to go. Because if you try to do it this other way you're doing it, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you go at deleting every Afrobeat word by your name on every website on the internet, you will always be seen as an Afrobeat guy. I'm sorry, Mike. This is the reality of things. Okay? You can't change it. This is who you are. And it's not just a tag. that's making it easier.
No, but Max, let's not be so like restrictive to him, because again, that's the energy that argument is being made now, that he cannot be anything but an Afrobeats artist, but he can absolutely be anything he puts his mind to. I don't know why I'm sounding like Nas. I don't know why I sounded like Nas in 2005, but he can be anything he puts his mind to.
You want to be. I can come out today to say, okay,
you can be anything you want to be, you know. But
just you still working now. When you
just have to do it.
Exactly.
You just have to do it.
Apart from the showing working, no matter the that tag will still be there. I'm sorry to say, it will still be there.
Legacy. It's his entire legacy. So it's not going to just gonna be wiped off of the face of the internet. No, history. He has made history, bro. Time and time again.
It doesn't work that way. Look, it hurts, particularly when you see that certain other people, like I said, certain other people are getting certain things, and it feels like, if I don't do something right now, I may not be at the top anymore. It's one of the worst things that can happen to exceptional people. Okay, right. It's like we see with Ronaldo, Messi. They tried at the tail end. They tried to remain, bro. At some point, there will always be the ceiling.
Right.
At some point, you just have to humbly accept the limitations that come with it. It's just life. It's the circle of life, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Bro, no. Again, Max, there's things he can absolutely do.
Well, he can tweak things a little bit.
He could make country albums for the rest of his career, and there would actually be a shift, and we'll document the shift, and we'll talk about it, and he'll be given all the credit that he wants to make for making a country run. No one's going to bat an eye. He's a creative. He's an artist. He has the legitimate freedom to do anything he wants to do.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm actually coming to that thing, that whole point, that post of I'm not a fucking Afrobeats artist. Like, I'm sorry. That thing, no matter what Beyonce does, okay, I don't think that after Beyonce's album she drops, the country album, obviously, I don't think she's gonna be heralded as a country artist after that.
No, I understand. I completely understand that. Yes, if she's doing a one-off, especially if she's doing a one-off.
That's it. Okay, so I'm just talking from the perspective of identity. You cannot throw your identity away. It doesn't work. Yeah, you do whatever you want to do your thing, but look, see that identity thing? I'm sorry, bro. Nah, you're not taking it off you. Okay? It's just like, even with Burna, okay, this is sentimental. A lot of people will push back and say this is not true. But Burna, as I told them, we know he tried to do the Afrofusion hip-hop thing and everything. We listen to City Boys, right? That was obviously like the hit record from it, if you want to call it that. Sitting on Top of the World, Grammy-nominated rap song or whatever. But when you listen to On Form, you know that this is who this guy is. I'm sorry. We outsiders can say, I'm an Afrofusion, whatever. But when you listen to On Form, it's like this is home for this guy. And no matter what he does, no matter how much hip hop, no matter how much teams you wear, bro, you will still be that Afro guy. My own is just the identity thing, and I feel like it's a shame because it's giving I don't know, if you do this thing for too long, you will start to come up as an Agbaya that does not understand that you just have to accept who you are sometimes in life, and with that acceptance, try to do the new things you want to do, but still accept that this is who you are. And it makes life easier for everybody, really. That's my own. I just don't like this identity crisis I see. It's shameful. You're too old for this.
Right.
So that's my position. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Max. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. I know we have a few speakers on this before we start rounding up, because we've definitely gone over time.
Miss Tyrell has bin trying to get in, so Miss Tyrell, and then Samson, and then Eddie.
Okay. Appreciate you guys. Hi, Miss Tyrell.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep. We can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I had quite a lot to say, but since we don't have time, I'll just cut it short. In some way, I see where Wizkid is coming from, but I think that the approach to it was just not right. In all this discussion, we still haven't really defined what Afrobeats is.
Yes, I think we have.
No, we haven't. We haven't. Even in this,
No. We've defined it. I'm sorry.
We've said
We've
it.
defined it many, many times
because
now.
even in this discussion, this one that just happened now,
right?
Somebody said the artists have a different opinion of what Afrobeats is. You said there's the sound element of Afrobeats and there's the country-ish element of Afrobeats.
Cultural.
Okay.
Mr. Let me just explain it to you. Like simple. This thing is that in the real sense, if you want to follow the normal thing, it is still in context of like Afrofusion, but based on culture, on the global map, the family name that they can recognize us with is the Afrobeats, which is
okay. So basically, it's still the same
it's
thing.
more
We
of
don't
the
have
culture than the sound itself.
Okay. Okay.
The thing is that we have
Mr.
what
Ro,
I'm
can you
saying.
define pop music for me?
Anything concern pop music. My own is that in Nigeria we have our definition. Like me, pop music is just popular music.
Okay.
Yes, it changes over time.
So can you define K-pop? Wait, we're going somewhere.
I don't know what K-pop is.
We are going somewhere. Can you please define K-pop?
I do not know what K-pop is. I know that there's popular music from Korea.
Okay.
Simple. Can I get my point?
Yes.
That's exactly what Afrobeat is. From West Africa.
That is Afrobeat also.
That's
Afrobeat is
Mr.
Let me add.
Do you see the pattern there?
I'm saying. Please, can I finish what I'm saying?
Yes.
My own is that I talk to a lot of people outside the Afrobeat community. We have our definition of Afrobeats. Outside, there's a different definition of Afrobeats. If you actually search on the internet, there's different definitions of Afrobeats. Okay. That's besides the point.
Okay, please bring these definitions. Let's see them. Or like...
I think you're making very general statements.
Wait. Please point out which definition you saw that threw you off. Because again, many definitions of it still regarded as an umbrella term to describe pop music from the West African diaspora. So where else has the definition been shifted?
I don't think there's a definition out there. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. Because you people were also mentioning drums earlier.
Yeah, because again, there's two fragments to.
Also, sorry, we mentioned the. Sorry, wait. Now let me finish. Who is talking? We mentioned earlier when the space started. Sorry, me. I just want to say I don't need you to agree with me. I don't need to agree with you. We are just here to listen to other people's opinions, and I've heard you people's opinions. I mean, you've been saying the same thing for almost the entire space. So me, I understand what you guys are saying. I'm just bringing my own opinion to the table. Okay. You don't need.
Sorry for engaging your points. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, it's not that you should not engage. I'm not saying that you should not engage. It's just that I don't even know, Seth. Oh, you have even forgotten what I wanted to say.
Taiwo, I'm your CTO. I'm your
Emmanuel, I support you.
Just carry us where we go where we don't know.
Mr. Please.
I remember what I wanted to say.
You were saying that people that are not in Nigeria, they have their own definition.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Ultimately, the definition that should be the major thing is our own definition. But that's besides the point. Earlier in this conversation, because part of this, what's it called? Okay, sure. Anyway, somebody mentioned that the music that Odile just brought out is not Afrobeats. But you have somebody else, guys from Nigeria. Okay, that's classified as Afrobeats. But that's why, like, there's a lot of confusion around what Afrobeats is. I mean, obviously, I've gained a better understanding of what it is from listening to some people's opinions. But I think in the wider scope, there is still a huge confusion about what it is. And like somebody else said, there's a difference in how we see Afrobeats and how the artists see Afrobeats, or like the definitions of it. Because me, even when I'm talking about Afrobeats, there are some times that like, it's not the definition or what I'm talking about depends on the context of the conversation. So it's not like there's just, I don't know how to put it. Like there are some artists that when I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to put them in the Afrobeats box. But even though I know that what they are doing is not Afrobeat, but that is what they are known for. Like when people think about their genre, they just think Afrobeat because this person is from West Africa. So I think that is where the confusion comes from. And I think like for a while I was listening to some people outside the Nigerian space talking about Afrobeats, and what they were saying was music from West Africa, and that was basically all it was about it. So the reason why I like this conversation is that we're having a deeper conversation about what Afrobeat is and how we define it. That being said, another thing I want to mention, somebody was talking about the Caribbean people don't used to, earlier in the space, they don't used to have all this gripe about the genres and blah blah blah. That one is
They
not
still
true.
do. They still do. Even I
It's
think
not
Mr. Fat
true.
said
Have you people
no.
heard these UK people during when it's time for Notting Hill Carnival? Diaspora war every year. It is not soca music. They also complain about how everything is boxed into. Sorry, what's the popular
Reggae
Jamaican sound? Yeah, that
Reggae.
everything.
and
Yeah,
dancehall and
everything from the
everything
Caribbean is boxed
is
into
yeah.
reggae.
Yeah.
So I think, to be fair, I think this is a conversation that is had in like a lot of genres. But yeah, we are having our conversation because So I don't know. Even just forgetting my points. It has been such a long time since I even wrote them down. But yeah, with what Wizkid said, I said I think the insults were too far. I kind of understand where he's coming from, and I also think to an extent it was a response to some of the opposing stands, because a lot of what people were saying about, like for me, More Love Less Ego was not really Afrobeats. And a lot of people were just like, when they talk about the album, they wanted the Afrobeat sound. Like they wanted all those drums and they just wanted that sound, and like he wasn't going to give that. And so I think he's just clearing the air before he brings out the album. And I think he also just wanted to announce the album and get everyone talking about it. And now you can engage. Sorry, I just wanted to see me. I have a
Miss
short-term
Cairo had
memory.
an agenda she needed to get out,
Sorry.
and Manuel was interrupting her.
I used to forget things. So if you interrupt me, small, I would have
Sorry, Miss
forgotten
Tyrone,
if I had.
engaging the
Taiwo, I'm
points.
in your city. Oh.
Eh?
I'm in your city.
Don't worry, I'll come and find you. I will beat you. There are some people that have been saying they wanted to beat you.
Hey, I don't know what's going
Anyway,
on
you
here.
guys gotta fight somewhere else, please. Yeah, Miss Tyrone, I definitely hear. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I think what you said has been hinted on. Like, there's a disparity in the definition of it, of course, and I think that's the major crux of this debate. Some people understand it in multiple definitions, and of course, yes, there's a perspective, and I think even Blip was bringing it up that there's definitely, I don't know if it was Blip, but there's definitely like conversations they've been having in the industry, or at least on their pursuits to break into other markets of the industry where they've been hit by a brick wall called Afrobeats at some point. So we don't know all these tags, or we don't know all these elements that, or these aspects of the conversation, because it is there. The only thing is that we know the trajectory, or at least we actually do believe in the trajectory of making your sound or making your identity beyond Afrobeats. Is it impossible to make your identity beyond Afrobeats? I do not believe so. I don't believe it has restricted you to that point. As it restricted the perspective at which people look at you, then you have the material. You have the opportunity to do that with the material. You have the opportunity to do that with conversations like this, and let your material now complement your conversations. Because if you're coming out with conversations like this at this point, you look crazy when you've not had the material to really, really supplement your points. He frankly doesn't have the material to supplement his points right now, but he can absolutely make his points. But we just need something that will substantiate his point, and that's where the gap is really. And of course, the definition of the term too is another huge point, because he believes it's just the sound. And I completely hear the argument that he probably is listening to the criticism of not wanting the quintessential or the 2014-2015 type of Wiz or type of Wiz sound. We've been saying it time and time again. Like every conversation we have in this room, in this space, like we've obviously acknowledged the fact that he has evolved. Like he hasn't sounded the same since Superstar, and he has been evolving beautifully, I would add. Like he has been evolving beautifully since his points to Made in Lagos and everything, and his identity wasn't really stripped away from his music. You can still hear his identity in his language, you can still hear it in his tone, you can hear it in the choice of production too. His identity still lingered and still stayed in the heart of Afrobeats, and that's why his legacy is so planted in Afrobeats. There's a reason why, because his materials have always spoken to the identity of Afrobeats. So that's I guess the next release now. Hopefully it has to be a big statement against this Afrobeats tag. It just has to be a big statement against this Afrobeats tag. Then it can absolutely make more sense to see or not present an album in an Afrobeat context. I guess he's taking the risk of alienating a lot of his fans, which comes time and time again. Beyonce alienated some people when she decided to go house completely. I'm sure she's alienating some people when she's going this country route as well. So at the end of the day, you're the one calling the shots. You're the artist. You're the top dog. We move wherever you're moving. So help us understand. Help us know where you are, which chapter you are in your life, or which chapter you are in your pursuits for greatness or music in general. You don't want to be boxed to something that your legacy is absolutely like attached to. Then make that sonic effort. Burna Boy did it. Burna Boy did it. He made the effort to say, I can make other records, I can make other sounds, and guess what? He showed workings and he got rewarded for the workings. It's absolutely possible to still have those things, because at the end of the day, Afrobeat is a fusion in itself. It's fusing things, and it's absolutely like it doesn't restrict you whatsoever. And I think that's the crux of the entire conversation. I know we've kind of moved back and forth again, and I know you addressed something on the dancehall conversation. Absolutely, those spaces will have their disparities within it. It's again, they have their own vehicle terms that they're using. I think it's up to the individual artists to educate people with the differences where they do not linger with or attach to a certain sound. And I think when they have the material to help that education, it makes more sense. People will welcome it and respect it. It has to make sense so that people will respect it. Anyway, Eddie one, right? It was next.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to get on for a while.
Yeah, Eddie and then Samson.
And Samson, yeah, because the main reason I wanted to get on was about the Ashake in Toronto, but that conversation is over. So I don't want to keep. I don't want to keep going back to that.
Right.
I'm just glad everyone that's come on the space. I've actually called it I actually called it how it is, because I remember last year when we had this whole conversation, it was Burna, right? It was Burna on Zen Lone's podcast, and where Burna Boy made those comments. Because I remember that night, a lot of people was going in on Burna Boy, which I don't really agree to it, but I do understand where a lot of people was coming from. I'm just glad a lot of people are actually speaking their mind when it comes to this whole Wizkid situation. Because I think Wizkid should be the last person to run away from Afrobeat and say he's not an Afrobeat artist. He doesn't do Afro, because even the whole term Afrobeat to the world, like Wizkid, I don't think he coined it. Emmanuel, did he coin that word? I don't think he did, but he did popularize it, right? Yes.
No, he didn't coin the word.
But he's the face of it, though.
No, he didn't coin it. The origin is still vague and up in the air. Even DJ Abranti, in 2012, because he made a radio show that called the Afrobeats in the UK, but even apparently this is all new information. Apparently he has said, "Oh, I'm not the one that coined it. It was already up in the air," and that's where I just attached it because it was up in the air in terms of describing music from this space. So it's just one of those terms that it just rose up.
Just came about. It just came about. Yeah, because Wizkid did popularize it. That's what Wizkid always. Wizkid's always someone that always champion for Afrobeat. Because compared to Burna Boy, Burna Boy, when it comes to even in interviews or even most of the interviews when he talks to people in the US and America and the UK, Burna Boy always try to do the whole Pan-Africanism.
Even Davido to some extent. Davido and Burna Boy will tell you, oh, we're trying to connect Africa to people in the US and America, right? Wizkid was never like that. Wizkid always said, I'm doing Afrobeat. This is Afrobeat. This is music we're doing from Africa, and we're taking the shit to the America, right? So I don't think Wizkid should come out and make those statements that he did on IG, because those statements just sounds like frustration from him, which I kind of understand, because I'm still of the belief that Wizkid and his team, the whole balls they had for Made in Lagos, I think they fumbled it. I think they fumbled the balls, because Made in Lagos, in essence, was a very, very big success story in especially in America. I don't know about the UK, but in America, Wizkid, he did some tour. He did tour with that album, but he didn't go to all the cities. He didn't take on bigger venues. He just did like a little bit of shows, and he didn't. I don't remember. Emmanuel, Wizkid never came to Canada, did he? He never came to Canada for that tour.
There was COVID, and then there was his unfortunate mom passing, and
but because I think Wizkid, with that buzz he had with Essence and Made in Lagos, Wizkid could have easily done a proper tour in the US and in parts of America.
Course. He was denied that with the pandemic.
He never did it, because now this whole sounds like frustration, and him saying, "Oh, Made in Lagos is a different R&B and fusion of sound and whatnot." Cool, but if you want to make another album, the new album, somebody need to tell Wizkid, you're gonna need an Essence kind of record. You're gonna need that record. You're gonna need a big record to push that single, right? Because R&B is not an easy genre to make. It's one of the hardest genres. That's why in R&B you see there's a bunch of songwriters, and people don't even do R&B like that no more. There's not a lot of R&B artists doing music on that level. So Wizkid, I don't know, man. I don't want to go too hard on him, because I know there's a lot of things that happen behind closed doors, and all of this I think just still ties down to money. Because you guys got to remember, artists make money from touring. They don't really make money from the sales. They make more money from touring. Hopefully, Wizkid go out there and deliver a good album, and he can come and tour and make his money. But the old tag about Afrobeat, the old tag about like denouncing of Afrobeat, I think Wizkid should be the last person to do that. Just on the fact that he has been the one championing that sound, that culture, everything I got to do Afrobeat from day one. That's all I gotta say. I don't really have much. We're almost done.
All right, thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Emmanuel, sorry, I will believe. Can I just say?
Sorry,
I beg.
Yes, I'll believe in. I just want. It's just a sentence. It's just to say that Afrobeat must not become a slur in our lifetime before we get to the time where everyone has to start checkmating when typing Afrobeat. So, sorry, my dollar did this, but yeah, good night. Anyway, I really need to go. But thank you.
Thank you, Blip. Sorry, Samson. And we should be wrapping up with. I think BSH came up.
Yeah, BSH.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys, in the request. We can't get to everybody. It's very, very late right now. But this has been a very good conversation. Let's hear from Samson and BSHK before we leave.
Okay, so I'm just wondering, what possibly can they be having in those rooms? Like Max alluded to the conversation. Is it a complete crossover?
Okay, so I can give you an example of a scenario where they feel because in America too, and they are very, very they can be very, very performative in the quote unquote diversity and equity quotas that they add to many things. So there could be a possible scenario where they have a lineup of artists and they've already conditioned one particular spot or one or two conditions for say a quote unquote African artist, right, in their head, and they'll say, oh yeah, let's get everybody with the Afrobeats term. And then there can be a scenario where they say we only have one or two slots, and then that's just coming from them being not open to that, really diversifying their platform. I think it can be very performative if in a lot of ways that people are trying to do things, right? So in that scenario, they can be like, oh, we've already got someone that from your side of things, from your world. And it could be an artist
that completely crossover.
And it could be an artist, that you don't necessarily make all the best type of music with. Say you went from a from a Kiss Daniel to I don't know. I'm trying to find two different artists that maybe a Benson and a Sheyi Vibes, for instance, even though they have a
Yeah,
song together.
but yeah,
Yeah.
the problem, right? If
Yeah.
they completely crossover, they're also going to be competing for slots.
Yes, exactly. The competition is hard. That's the thing, man.
It's even harder. So
Yeah.
what's the point? Like, I'm going to be competing with PND, like,
Yeah.
with his voice. Like, how is it going to be
The
possible?
irony is that see, even with the example I pointed, the irony is that the fact that there's an Afrobeats window for them actually even gave them give them a chance to even welcome the conversation from this artist. So it's not like there's different ways you can look at that, man. It's interesting, man. It's interesting.
See, Emmanuel, what you're saying is, I mean, so there was obviously, like, I've seen, like, obviously me, I work, like, obviously working in space, you kind of know people that are behind the scenes. And
yes.
I'm seeing a lot of them, their little tweets, right? It is exactly that. They I know I've heard of a particular situation, an artist currently, who is very much on this Afrobeats to the world situation. His music isn't entirely facing, I don't want to really mention it because people will trace it back to his team member, but she basically made a statement like, she quoted, sorry, we only have one Afrobeat spot, and then she laughed.
From festivals.
Yes, like it's those type of things, right?
Yeah,
that is,
but
it's those type of things that is throwing them off, right? Like or throwing people, like throwing them away.
But then again, there's another way to see that. Anyway, sorry.
Wait, but even though Taj, like, okay, so yes, it's limiting. That's what you're saying, but it's even more.
Oh, trust me, Samson, I'm not supporting it. I'm just telling you why they feel like
why they could be voicing that.
Why Wiz will feel like. Although I think Wiz's part also comes from the part that he's not false right now. I think he has. I think he feels like he can't. I think he feels like he can't compete.
Make I talk my point.
Yeah, I think you're getting into this part.
Yeah, you're getting to my part. Yeah. And that's the truth, right? It's not popping. It's not like, okay, so when we talk about, like, Mysterio was trying to practically understand what Afrobeat is, and we tried as much as possible to explain. We used this scenario of the K-pop scenario and trying to make sure that understand that it's popular music from that part of the world, right? So the thing is that the soundscape, right? What we call Afrobeats changes from time to time depending on the soundscape. Like, what's the most popular music in that time or at that time? Do you understand? So we went through the tangents of the period where Made in Lagos dropped, and we see people doing lo-fi. Even Olamide tried to do like a rock like lo-fi album, and that was the popular music at the time. And it's so wild. I heard somebody saying that Made in Lagos is not an Afrobeats album. That's the wildest thing I've heard today. That's an Afrobeat album to the core. Like, so the thing with Wizkid is that I feel like he's at this point in his career where he's not as loud or as even though he's popular, but he's not trending for the music as much, and he's just trying to look for scenarios or things to just like make people talk about his upcoming album or his music, because this is just a marketing tool. I don't think he's serious about it. I don't think even himself believes, like, I don't think he even believes that he's not an Afrobeat artist. I don't think it's about rooms. I don't know what's rooms, like, what's the conversation? Okay,
right.
So it doesn't make any sense to me, right? So I think that's just what it is. Is try to grapple with the situation right now. He needs to have people talk about him. He needs to be in the news cycle. He needs to talk, because if he wants to do like proper R&B, right? Okay, so what's stopping you from doing that? And this is Afrobeat in its strict sense limiting you from doing that? Hell no. So, and like Max said, it's a legacy thing. He's been known as an Afrobeat artist and he's a creative. He could do whatever he chooses to do, right? But starting to feel like, or making it feel like him, the toga Afrobeat sounds cancerous to his eventual growth. That is what is quite despicable at this point, you know. So I just feel like he should just.
One thing I would say is that I think Wiz wants us to recognize that what he does is not pure Afrobeat. He wants
or has evolved. Is what it
yeah,
is.
he wants
us to know that he has evolved, and anyone that has 2 ears would know.
And anybody will know that. And Afrobeats also evolves. Like
yes, he can be the dictator of what it sounds like easily. He has done it before.
And I think that's what also frustrates them is that it's almost like when they try to run away from it, Afrobeats wants
follows them.
Follows them. They say, hey, come back here. Why we're still with you, right? Like regardless, as long as that's how he feels, right?
Yeah.
No matter how much Reese tries to run away from Afrobeats, unless he absolutely needs
an
something
effort.
different,
he can do it.
He can do it. Which is why I say this whole piece is bloody lazy, because if you want to put in an effort to make something absolutely different, do it.
Do it.
Yes, but the point is that you like there's a certain laziness to these people where you are creating something that you are familiar with. Because at the end of the day, you are Afrobeats. That's the truth. So you pour it into whatever you create.
Yeah.
But because you've tried to tweak it so that it will sound the space will still catch up with you. Because guess what? And the reality of, and which is why it's such a sub-delusional situation, is because Made in Lagos was not brand new. If you want to have the conversation generally,
yes.
First things first, the whole underground scene was doing that.
Was doing this.
Everybody underground was doing it. But I can tell you that Miz made records like Made in Lagos in 2016.
Miz is Made in Lagos.
I can tell you, P2J did not just pick up more money and had all those ideas.
Miz is Made in Lagos, man.
Bro, what Juice them did with Mr. Easy them?
Yeah, they've been slowing it down.
Should we draw the pattern from Pana and all those other records?
Yeah. Oh,
what are we saying now? So it's like the scene, but obviously because on that big level, Wiz seemed like he was that major guy that did it.
But he did it on an album scale. It was a statement, of course.
Yeah, it was a statement, but it's like, okay, I've done something different. But guess what? Which is why a major part of this conversation that always keeps getting left on, and it's sad that they don't speak about it, is producers. Because P2J cannot sit down there and tell me that he doesn't know where he got influence from Made in Lagos from.
That would be nuts.
But he'll be quiet.
That would be nuts, bro.
Stars cannot say that. So what the music? So Stars cannot say that. Producers are absolutely mute when it comes to this conversation. Have you seen a producer speak about this Afrobeats conversation? They are ghosts.
No.
And they are the dictators of this shit too. They are the ones that because Wiz is not the one pressing the keys. Wiz just sits down there and let them produce and he sings.
And the vibe.
PJ cannot tell me that he doesn't know where he got that sound from. Juice cannot tell me that they don't know where they got those influences from. Who else again is an Afrobeats the world producer right now that is buzzing? Let me think. I don't know. Chopsticks with Last. Does he not know where he got all the influence from? Even though he sampled an American song.
Yeah.
So if people that actually create the sonics are not speaking about it, that cannot come and try and bobo us and tell us anything. When the person actually made your sonics, he knows where he got the sonics from.
Right.
And all of them keep mute. All of them keep mute.
So
like now, okay, now it's like now, since this record now with SARS, Ghana, and Ashake not come and tell us in a couple years I created something new. When SARS knows where he got it from.
Yeah.
So producers also are not speaking on this situation. They are absolutely mute. For us to sit down here and tell me, can you sit down here and tell me that Made in Lagos is not an Afrobeats album, or more or less is not an Afrobeats album? It's killing me. That's a lie.
He pay me go. Not he pay me.
It's wild.
Bro. Then we'll say that the Stars and World project is not Afrobeats, or the Loj project is not Afrobeats, or the Omale Boy Alone project is not Afrobeats. Are we here to back music there?
Yeah. I think people see it as Tungba. If it's not Kiss Daniel, then
if it's not Tungba Kiss Daniel, it's not Afrobeats.
Yeah, then it's not Afrobeats.
But if somebody here now, they'll tell you Boy Alone was Afrobeat too, but Made in Lagos is not Afrobeat.
Which be stupid.
Imagine. They'll tell you LTG. They'll tell you LTG was Afrobeat, but Made in Lagos is not
Afrobeat. Hilarious, man.
Like all these albums, they exist.
Anyway, guys, we've definitely stretched a lot of points now. Appreciate everyone that's contributed. Last but not the least, BSH. Sorry to some of the requests that we have. Unfortunately, we're way past time. And we just helped to kind of conclude this conversation. But yes, let's go. BSH, how are you feeling?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
First of all, good morning, afternoon, or night, anywhere you are in the world right now.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I've been listening for a very long time, so I've heard a lot of things, and that has opened my mind and changed my perspective, or seen it different from the way I saw it initially. Because when I first saw the post, when Wizkid made the post, I was just thinking he's cruising, like maybe he's on some high shit, and it was just catching cruise on the vibes. So I didn't take it too hard. It's from the second day and the third day, I was like, maybe something is wrong with this guy. He's maybe going through something. But from listening to everybody, I see where it could affect his legacy and the different perspective I've been hearing, and it makes a lot of sense. And one thing that you said, Emmanuel, earlier is that maybe he's no longer confident. From everything I've been hearing, that's the way I feel about
Yeah.
what Whiskey, the place Whiskey is. It's like maybe he's battling something, like maybe he doesn't have that confidence because let's be honest, there's still competition, and
Yeah.
Davido and Burna Boy they are as confident as you can get right now. They're on their shit. They know their next move. Maybe based on his last album that didn't actually hit us the way he thought it was going to hit us, is probably putting him in a spot whereby he's not sure anymore or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know where, maybe that's where his frustration is coming from. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's
So
my
that's the way I
belief.
see
That's my
that.
belief when I was reading his post. But yes.
It was really a weak way to 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 roll out the album, because definitely a rollout. It's obvious from the first day I saw it, I knew it was a rollout, but it is just a bad rollout because insulting Nigerians and trying to put down people that have been talking since, trying to defend Wizkid. Just say you love Wizkid and you want to defend him. You cannot say it's right because it's obvious that he was saying some bullshit from everything he's saying, because he's Afrobeat. Whiskey sabi sing anything past Afrobeat. Let's be honest. I want to see that.
Let's not put that on him. Okay,
let's be real. Let's be
No,
real.
no, no,
Whiskey,
yes, I understand what you're about to say. Like, you don't think you can make anything else?
no, see, I'm talking from I've been a Wizkid fan, and we be the kids when Wizkid first inspired. Now we just set of Wizkid when we wear Wizkid bag. Now we do them. So I love Wizkid. It's not about, I've never, me personally, from time, I've never seen Wizkid as this great as everybody, but I know I can testify to his greatness, but I don't feel it personally. So his music has not been that too special. Wizkid music has been special because of that Afrobeat, that Ilamba, those things that make us like Wizkid. That make the new fans, they say, we don't know with this Wizkid when we see, because the Wizkid what we fall in love with initially, they give us Lamba, it toast woman in a different, it gets vibes what we love Wizkid. Even if he wants to be conscious, there's a conscious Wizkid that we like. Wizkid just changed totally, bro. You can't just stay totally and expect people to follow you just like that, bro. They work like that. Burna Boy, Burna Boy can do it because that's how his music has been from the onset. You know, so it's like Wizkid is coming to insecurity, man. Like the pressure is making him not calm down and understand that even if they are criticizing you, it's not coming from a stupid place. Like the fans, there's nobody that is less criticized from the big three than Wizkid. Wizkid is the less criticized from the big three, in my opinion. So I see no reason why he will be the one to do this one. If not Burna do these things, we know see the for all the cookers, yes, since on a norm. But now Wizkid, everybody like Wizkid. Wizkid played that part in everybody's, especially if you are in your 20s, your early 20s to your late 20s. There's this connection to Wizkid, so you just love him. Yeah. So everybody has that bias towards Wizkid. That's his grace. If not, they've already cooked Wizkid since before now.
Okay.
See it again.
Yeah, I get it.
So he's very wrong for that thing he said.
Yeah.
And for this thing he said, now that next album, so I want hear him. I want to see what he want to do. Say in the talk, saying he not be Afrobeat artist. Wizkid's best songs now Afrobeat songs. I don't understand what they even worry all these artists, including all this the Rema and the Fire, all of the they talk, and they are saying bullshit, bro. This is bullshit for real. Me, I'm a rapper. I make rap music, but I understand the Afrobeat music movement. If you tag me as an Afrobeat artist, I will not be mad because I understand it, because I want to still be a part of it, even if I rap. That's why I rap on Afrobeat kind of songs sometimes, because I cannot just be hip hop. We don't know. Now you be Jay-Z. If you like you rap like Jay-Z, you cannot be Jay-Z. So we have to feed your Africanness. So me being tagged as an Afrobeat artist is like, I see it as a challenge to make my rap music more African, or put that African touch to it, to really make it so that you can really come out as an African artist, and it makes sense to me. So these artists, all of them trying to create their own subgenre, it's just, I don't understand. It's just ego, man. It's just whack to me. It's like it's privilege. It's like you have gotten what you want, so it's like you want more, neglecting that there are people that you have inspired with this your Afro beats that have now even okay. There are many rap artists that they want to be part of this Afro beat and switch the rap style. If you listen to, if you peep the underground rappers, we don't just rap straight hip hop again. No, inside our project, we get 3 rap songs, you
Yeah,
get like
they'll
2
get one
Afro
number
beats.
moment.
So want to be part of the movement. So yeah, the big dog they come out just the trash. It doesn't make sense, and we have to say it the way it is.
Mhm.
They I don't know what that guy that works in Pulse. He said something that's like people are trying to worship all these our artists, and it's kind of true. These guys are not feeding us. You not get waiting. Even if I don't make them tomorrow for music, it doesn't change nothing. So
Right.
I won't say things to just favor Wizkid with the hopes that it might help me tomorrow. That would be bullshit because nobody can help you. You can only help yourself.
Yeah.
So it's funny why people will come here and still trying to you can love Wizkid and still criticize him when he goes left. Everybody knows how to caution Burna when he says something that's left. But if Wizkid says it's like you want to see the sense in it. People have gone extra mile to see the sense in this bullshit,
Right.
and it doesn't make sense. They don't see the bigger picture of the people he's hurting. He might not know because he has already made it. There are a lot of people that are coming behind him.
Yeah.
So people like myself and a lot of other artists that even do Afro beats. You know that you are just trying to close the door. I don't understand. It's like anything that the white man has been involved. When money don't they involve, white man don't put money for table. Everybody don't misbehave. Born on FS start time. But this one don't do. If the video just do them, I gonna say okay, black. Now white man they send this man, they probably do all these things. So because me not understand. It doesn't really make
Yeah.
Wizkid don't shock me past because Wizkid came out as Afrobeat, the new Afrobeat. Like it is like he revolutionized what Fela
Bro,
did
there've been many
in a new
tweets
way,
that
in
he
a new
has
school.
even positioned himself as the uniting factor. Like he was unifying people. He was bringing
the old generation and the new one. He was trying to
like
blend
the
it.
Afrobeats is bad. He was always speaking highly of bro, to the point where he said Afrobeats is bad. He said fuck rappers. Rap is dead. He was defending Afrobeats in that conversation.
Few years ago, this was 2 years ago.
They don't tell us say
So that will tell you that this is ego.
He
This is
was defending
insecurity
Afrobeats
talking.
with his life. He was saying rap is dead. I don't listen to that shit. Afrobeats is the new pop. Like fuck all y'all. Like he was moving with that, and to come outside and say I'm not bro.
Maybe they don't reduce the advancement.
Let's say the truth. Wizkid is afraid.
Bro.
Pressure.
Bro, the pressure
Fire
definitely
thing
has
right
been
now.
there for
He got delivered. More love, let's go.
Yeah.
Bro, Emmanuel,
The cancel tour. Let's face the fact that this man is in I don't know the state he's in now, but he's not in a good state because that thing he said revealed a lot about him that we probably didn't know.
Yeah.
Because if you check the landscape, Burna and Davido are in a very good spot. We are waiting for Davido's Timeless because his next album, because Timeless did well.
Yeah.
It was a good album, good listen. Davido improved musically. So he's seen everything, and the last of his project, More of Less Ego, didn't give him nothing. Like Wizkid made I don't know. I won't say he made nothing, but he didn't get what he actually
definitely
wanted
wasn't
from
the bar he had set
album.
for himself. Yeah, for sure.
So it's probably clouding his judgment for his next release based on maybe he's not making that old Wizkid that we like. So he's trying to manipulate us before he dropped the album, and he's just going there.
I mean it's part of.
That's
it's prepping us for the new. Like I think he's. Okay, listen, I think that's the best possible argument you can make for Wizkid, that he's prepping the landscape, or I guess shifting where our focus is when it comes to expecting what he's going to do. Because if he does anything that sounds remotely like More Love Less Ego or Middle Lagos, I think he's still going to get that same pushback against his sound that he's on. And he might be saying all of this in the point of frustration for all of that. So I absolutely hear what BSH is saying. I think that was a point that I think Taiwo or someone else pointed to earlier. So I appreciate all the conversation that has been said regarding this particular topic, what Afrobeats is. I hope we've left this conversation, at least, like even me myself, I've definitely walked through the way with a lot more, like getting to hear more people talk about the situation, getting to get more perspectives on it, seeing exactly where we disagree. I think it's been good to draw like where exactly we see the gap in our understanding of Afrobeats and what it is and what it isn't. So appreciate everybody, man. This was good. This was fun. Anyway, I think that's about it. Shout out to everyone that's in the listeners. Appreciate you guys engaging. Of course, follow the handle here up as the host, and we do we do release the episodes, or at least the space, as a podcast. So be sure to hit the link in the bio to hear previous episodes that we've done, and conversations that we've had, that we've tried our very best to document, because it's one thing to have these conversations in the middle of a somewhere deep into a 4-hour 5-hour space, but it's another thing to kind of like compartmentalize it into a podcast format, say like 2 hours at least, so at least you can drive to work with it, or have it in the background as you're doing it, whatever it is. But yeah, it's better to have a much more concise platforms, and hence why we have the podcast, for you guys to re-listen and engage in the conversation. So appreciate everybody. Yeah. Any other thoughts, Belema?
No, just follow the pages.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Mariah.
Yes.
Listen to the podcast, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, guys.
I know that everybody was very passionate about this since
Very.
Saturday. I've been getting
People were seeing me sweat on YouTube, man.
No, it's been a
It
long
happens.
day. Yeah, but I've even had to charge my phone twice. That's how crazy people are. But it's
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
Yeah.
Every space now has been 100% charged. You have to make sure.
No problem.
'cause-
It's okay. You guys just subscribe, like, comment, do all the things, share, follow, do all the little things, and we'll see you. We'll see you when
See how
nobody's
tired Belema
arguing.
sounds? Yeah, we've done 5 hours today, guys. Sometimes we don't hit that mark, but damn, yeah, this was a hot conversation. So yeah, so it happens sometimes. So bear with us for everyone that didn't get a chance to speak. We tried our best, but yeah, appreciate everyone that was able to contribute to the conversation, and I hope you guys have a good week. We out.
Yeah.
Peace.